maybe you should. No, I've got to get pizzas to that observatory over there. And so you get attacked by some like smoke monster, and you like the pizzas fall off, and you're like scrambling around, like, oh no, somebody
Smoke
needs
monster.
the pepperoni.
So I'm swimming through 30 weight motor oil.
Why are these new additions to your game that your intention was to release this fall? What are you doing?
Their primary focus should be surviving litigation.
Someone take his phone. I'll do it. Just give me a key card and a red button that turns off Randy's Wi-Fi.
It pisses me off that they lump racing in with sports. Then you look at this insert F-bomb, Mario Kart and Sonic Racing lumped in with F125.
An aimless rant. We were just angry.
Gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
What's up, everybody? We are live. It is episode 80 of the Hardcore Casual Broadcast. He is Jay of F1 Podcast fame.
Yeah, I absolutely am.
And I am Mason of Online Infamy, and we are the conversation at the rekindled fandom behind you. Jay, it has been an interesting week since we last spoke. Since last Thursday, we forgot some things, and then those things that we forgot absolutely blew up.
Yeah, that is true. And then, I had to deal with the also realization that on last week's show, I was 51, and on this week's show, I'm 52. So I'm still trying to come to grips with that little realization as of yesterday. But sorry, and I was in the middle of texting my son who forgot yesterday. And I was making it a point to note that, man, I'm glad I haven't forgot yours. Right?
Well, see, actually, like, did you ever have the thing? Are you one of those people at work that whenever you go into work, do you want people to know it's your birthday, or do you hope that no one knows? Okay, I'm very much the same way, where it's like, whenever I had to go into the office, I would be like on eggshells if it was my birthday. I'm like, I hope nobody looks at my HR file, like whatever. Like, I hope that there's nothing that comes up. I don't want people coming by my office and being like, hey, happy birthday. Like, you don't even know my name, dude.
Yeah. So my Rob was actually the first one to tell me. But my second one was my bank with an automated message. And I'm sure
that hit you right in the feels.
Oh man, right in the feels. And then the next one was my VA rep. And then the next one was my insurance agent, who did actually text me directly from her number. And I was like, thank you so much. It means a lot.
Well, it's the the things that I'll always get from the bank or whatever. It always cracks me up because it'll be like, in typical format, happy birthday, capital H APPY lowercase. It's like happy birthday, and then Mason in all capital MASON. Like I can tell that this is just copy pasted. Like it's just like a format thing. So yeah, happy birthday, Jay. And I'm glad that you got birthday wishes, both genuine and false. And I apologize for missing it. I'm bad at birthdays.
No, dude, don't. No, that's not even why I brought it up. It's just I'm kind of.
I feel like maybe it is.
No, it's not. I kind of having this kind of existential week in a lot of different areas, and that's going to be my theme for tonight. But yeah, it was weird too that we hung out last week and went to see the Odyssey, which I'm absolutely excited
to be talking about.
Because we haven't done that before, so this will be the first time we both went and saw it at the exact same time, and but then during lunch afterward, which by the way, folks, we went in the morning. So when I say during our late lunch, San Diego Comic-Con shit just started hitting out of the wildfire, man. So a lot of that stuff to unpack tonight and go through as well. So kind of a weird week there, but anyway, looking forward to getting into it.
And I feel like things are starting to ramp up, man. We've got Halo, which Jay has gotten some hands-on with, the Halo campaign Evolved that we're going to talk about. We've got that coming up. We've got the Wolverine game coming up in September 15th.
Yeah.
That is coming up, and that is coming up quick. I mean, we are basically in August now. This is July 30th.
You missed one. We've got Star Wars Zero Company coming out at the end of August.
Oh my God. So yeah, I mean that's coming up, and then we're just careening towards the end of 2026 now, and it seems so crazy. It's gone so fast. It's gone so fast. But yeah, so I guess I do have some evolving opinions of Black Flag Resynced as I continue to get into that. But on the subject of remakes, I'm very curious, Jay. Now that you've gotten your hands on, I've gotten to see a few things from some different creators and hear some opinions. Some opinions that were negative opinions. Whenever I hear them, I was like, I don't think I would really mind it all that much. It doesn't, but we'll see what you think. Well, I'll tell you more about those things where I'm like, that seems so insignificant to complain about. But I'm also a nitpicker, so who knows? Maybe it is a thing. But so now that you've gotten some hands on with the remake of the original Halo, we're going to be talking later today about how, like, is Marvel back, and then the other thing is Halo back? Are they recapturing the thing that made us all fall in love with Halo in the first place?
So I've got to say, and a lot of this is coming from the fact that it doesn't matter how many times they remake a game and pretty up the graphics. And we've said this a million times, to us, it always looked this good.
Yeah.
But there are some spots where I was like, okay, ours didn't freaking look that good. But there are also some spots where just in general gameplay, and I brought gameplay with me tonight, so I'm about to put that up in a minute. But there are some spots where I was like, that looks pretty close to what I remember.
Yeah, this is how it was before.
I know that ain't the case.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely know that. And then, of course, the anthem of all first-person shooter fans, the Halo theme music is there, and it's and I'll include sound on parts of this.
Did they remaster it, re-record it, or anything like that, or is it just the same as it's always been?
Not to my knowledge, but again, we're in a weird spot because we were already adults probably when we played the first one. Or at least I know I was. It was what, 2001, so we're talking about a 25-year-old game that's already been remade.
I was still in school. I had some time left.
Okay, well, we're talking about a game that's already been remade twice. So,
well, the first time it was like a remaster, like a little a little bit of a fresh coat of paint. Even that one was crazy. Which speaking of us talking about it before, that one, it was still running on the same engine. It was just kind of like some new textures and stuff like that. And even
upscale.
and even that with the new textures. And some of it was more than just upscale. Some of it they did like redesign some of the stuff, and you'd go in and you'd think like, this is the way it's always looked, but it had that toggle, so you could hit the toggle,
switch back.
And it was like, having the veil lifted, and you're like, oh God, oh wow, was it that way? Is that how it looked? Is that
yes,
right?
That's how it looked.
And I wish that this one would have that too, just so we could see like how dramatic it is. But obviously, it's not the same engine. It's not the same thing. They don't have the ability to do that. But I am curious as to, because whenever I was watching some of the videos and people talking about it, I was thinking the same thing that you were talking about, where it's just, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that looks pretty much the same. And then watch actual video, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's not even remotely close. So is this the very opening moments of the game right here?
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to capture the absolute opening, which I can tell you ours did not look that good, right?
Definitely not.
I know this is a cinematic, but even our cinematic didn't look that good.
And so I can't remember the name of the actor, but the guy that does the voice of Master Chief, I assume they got him back to re-record new lines, right?
Oh yeah.
All I need to know is, did we
Everybody
lose
sounds the same.
I think we both know the answer to that.
We made a blind
this is
jump.
wild, man.
Get here first?
How, like,
The Covenant ships have always been faster. As for tracking us all the way
Captain
from
Keyes
Reach,
did not look like this. All of his
options were
military
limited.
adornments looked like they were just pasted into the fabric.
Yeah, man, this is wild. This looks like a Tom Clancy movie
Until
right
we
now.
decelerated,
Yeah.
no one could have missed the hole we tore in slip space. They were waiting for us.
And like
on
I
the far
said, I
side of
did
the
some
planet.
cuts on here just for time, but
Where do we stand?
Once again, it is our job
we
to
go.
finish what the Fly Boys started.
So Johnson was
When we
also
meet the enemy, we
a
will rip
very
their
noticeable
skulls from
upgrade.
their spines and
Yes.
toss them
Seeing
away
him like the
laughing.
facial animations and stuff like that, it was wild.
Cortana to Cryo 2. Transmitting security code. Bridge out.
Okay, what do you think about the new Cortana?
Right.
she's not as hot as the
I
old
thought the
Cortana.
same thing. Okay,
Bringing
so
low-level
I was like,
systems online.
something's off.
His vitals look
Something's
good.
different about Cortana, and I
Hold
don't
on,
like
you're-
it.
You're talking during the shooter anthem of all time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's hot. Blowing the pins in 5.
Just reverence. do they still incorporate the thing where you're like getting acclimated to like help you determine how you want your controls to be?
Yes, they do, but this is it right here. But I end up
Sorry
cutting
for the
it
quick
here.
thaw, Master Chief. Things are
Right
a
after
little
this.
hectic right now.
Welcome back, sir. We'll have you battle.
Are you inverted even on first-person shooters?
Oh yeah, for
Vital
sure.
signs look normal. No freezer burn.
But I'm glad that they left that in there, that sort of like that diegetic way of sort of like determining whether you're inverted or not.
Oh yeah.
Captain Keyes.
Yeah, I could not believe how, I'm not going to say she was dog fugly, but compared to the OG Cortana was way hotter.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see something side by side. I don't know what it is, but I just saw the new Cortana. I'm like, something's different, man. Something's different.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single
Same
Halcyon
voice.
class cruiser.
Yeah.
With those odds, I'm content.
I don't know if
with
it's like the facial features are no longer as dramatic or something. Like maybe it's just a lot
No thanks to your driving.
smoother and sort of like nondescript.
did.
I don't know, but something is just different. But outside of that, everything else so far looks incredible. I mean, Master Chief looks absolutely insane right there.
Oh yeah.
Report.
It must be one of their boarding parties. I'd guess an antimatter charge.
Bam! Fire control for the main cannon is offline.
Captain, the cannon was my last defensive option.
All right then.
I couldn't believe how articulate Keyes' face is, because he looked like a potato in the original.
I think pretty much everybody did. But yeah, Johnson, one of the things that I've seen of Johnson in the different sort of like footage, his face too is insane. Very shiny, nice. I love the shiny surfaces.
Those Marines could use some help, Chief.
That was one thing that I heard some people play. One of which was skill up, is that whenever you go into like Covenant things, that everything is like looks like it's wet and purple.
I'm still with you.
Like wet and purple, and he hated that, which I think is fine. I don't mind that alien look to it. But I don't know. I've also not played it and gotten in deep. I haven't seen much. Did you mind all the purple and wet?
No, man, I was fine with it. I mean, it's an alien.
Right.
You know, they're right there. It is purple and wet. Well, that was kind of blue and wet, but still.
Clip that. How did the guns feel?
So the UNSC weapons feel great. I've only used that rifle for the Covenant so far.
Maybe this is a hot
I'm gonna tell you
take.
something.
Oh, good.
I'm not a big fan of the Covenant weapons, except
That was
for
exactly
that
what I was
one
gonna
and
say. I was like, maybe this is a
and
hot
the
take, but
Needler.
I hated the Covenant weapons.
Yes.
I know some people
And
love the Needler. I would always be like,
Yeah.
that was like my weapon of last recourse. Like I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Yeah, I was not a fan of the Covenant weaponry.
Yeah, and I hate
Also,
it
just
because I
in
picked
general,
it
I
up
hate
here
whenever you
because I
have to
got
charge a weapon.
Move in.
Yeah.
Go to the airlock.
The damage to the superstructure is extensive. I don't know how
I'm
much
like, no,
more
I pulled
abuse
the
auto
trigger.
can take.
I want to kill the mans. Don't make me
One
hold
of the
it
things
and-
that Halo did good, even from the beginning, was putting an ammo counter like the one from Aliens on your weapon.
I think they were. I mean, I'm sure that other games did it before, but like Halo was the first one that I recall playing that really had it be that integrated, so that it wasn't like this invasive HUD aspect, you know?
Oh yeah, and you're right, because look, there's literally almost nothing there.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, you could. I'm sure you could turn the HUD off, and you'd still have all the information that you needed. You know, you got your bullet count, you got all that. You know what you're carrying.
Sorry, I cut that little piece right there because that's a long part getting off the ship.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Punch it.
Ah, sir.
Yeah, and our escape pod did not look this good in the original.
No, I was about to say, like, this looks like proper, like a sci-fi vessel.
Yeah.
Like the escape pod before was like one of those typical things where it's just like a cylinder that they just launch, right?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir? I don't want to die out here.
I'm sure you'll make it, son.
Look.
He's probably thinking that dude's dead as fuck
Yeah.
since we hit.
Yeah. That armor's
As
covering
we
up a
hit.
red shirt.
Here it is.
See, I even threw in a Star Trek joke and I couldn't get it. That is like pure audio nostalgia, man.
What is that thing,
Yeah.
Lieutenant?
Hell if I know, but we're landing on it.
And we're gonna fuck it up.
But you know, I kind of wanted to show some cinematic, and I wanted to show, you know, internal fighting like on the ship, and then outside here on the Halo. But man, it looks fantastic, and it's so smooth to
Autumn's
play.
accelerating. Keys is going in manual.
Other than Cortana not being so hot, and I felt like the sticky grenades were 5 times more powerful in this than they were in the original.
Speaking of power, now, you know, maybe OGs, like the people that love the OG, they'll know.
Yeah.
The real ones will know. The pistol, the handgun. Is it
Oh,
still
man.
an overpowered
Yes.
beast? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do things where, like, I would just run around with that thing, just do like headshots, just boom, 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 boom.
It's
headshots.
it's not infinite ammo.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather
This
take
one,
defeat?
but
We'll be fine.
there's a section on here in a minute where I got 2 elites, and I had the assault rifle, and I ended up switching to the pistol just to get headshots with the pistol because it take them down in like 4 shots.
And does it still zoom in whenever you aim down?
You can, yeah.
So that was one thing, man. It's like it like packed a punch. It was incredibly accurate, and you could zoom whenever you aim down sights. It was so overpowered.
There went that guy that was bitching. He went right out the back door.
I didn't think he was long for this world.
No.
Chief.
Dude, this
hear
is
me?
so nostalgic, right? I mean, I still remember the
Are
original
you
right
alright?
here.
Can you move?
I went in here looking for a pile of ammo. They did have grenades in there. Just pissed off that I could only carry 4.
Oh, look at that, Ubisoft.
The
A
others.
mini map.
The impact.
Yeah,
There's nothing we can
no
do.
shit. With radar.
What a novel concept.
I mean, why would you need radar in naval combat?
Yeah. Crazy. I love the fire effects, dude.
Yeah, they did a great job.
You got smoldering embers.
I loved it. I walk over here and I remember I was like, oh my God, it's that bridge. And then there's going to be 2 of those wraiths come down.
Alert. Covenant dropship inbound. They must be looking for survivors. I recommend immediate evasion.
Nice.
See, to me, this didn't look much better. And
Yeah,
maybe
it
this
still looks like a purple tuning fork.
Warning,
Yeah.
I've detected incoming Banshee
Oh,
fighters.
that looked
And
good,
again,
actually.
that
Seeing
part
the profile shot of it, seeing it from the side. That is a
when
very
you get
vibrant purple. That is a very vibrant purple.
Yeah. When you get up and close and watch it deploy, it looks crazy. You can actually see them, like, you know, materialize in front of you and just drop down. I still went for the trying to destroy them. You cannot. And I was like, okay, I'm going to run.
Have you gotten to mount a Banshee yet?
Not on here. And I cut this playthrough like right after I get the Warthog, because I didn't want to spoil too much. Even though it's a 25-year-old game, there may be some youngsters out there that this doesn't spoil anything. This little first part. So.
Does the Warthog still drive the same way that?
Oh
it
my
used to?
God! Exactly the same way.
Is it? It's still a drift machine.
Yes. And if you're not, like, you remember you had those times when you were like, felt like you were in a zone driving that thing, and then there were times where you're like,
yeah,
I'm all left feet and thumbs right now, man.
Yeah, I can't stay away from the edge. You just keep like having to like try to like bring it back over.
Lifeboat beacon over
It's
the
really
next
disappointing
hill.
for
We should
somebody
check
like
to
me
see
who
if there are
loves
any
driving
survivors.
games already, and then I'm like, this sucks.
Well, see, I was one of those weirdos that like on Mass Effect, whenever they had the Mako, you know, and then Mass Effect 2 had I was like, I'm fine with the Mako. I don't mind it.
I love the Mako.
Yeah, I was like, I don't mind the way the Mako handles.
I liked it
Good
better
to
than
see
the
you, sir.
Hammerhead.
I
or whatever that thing was called.
Off the pillar of auto. Good to see you, sir. Welcome to the party.
The guns look really nice, man. Like the
Yeah, they
sort
do.
of like the matte gunmetal.
We called for evac.
Yeah.
There's like shiny parts and there's parts that are matte.
I got a Covenant dropship heading.
There we go.
Over
Got
here.
the handgun.
I don't think I'm going to keep it out right here, though. If I'm not mistaken, I come in there and get stuck with the SMG. Yeah.
Oh man, they're everywhere.
Taking fire from the face.
Heavy dropships on the way.
Yeah, man, it's pretty.
Then you'll see the scarabs for the first time up here.
I love that they still sound the same. Like the little aliens still make all the weird noises. Sound like angry Ewoks.
And Halo was always a game of strafing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you didn't take cover. You just moved to the side. Did it go back to feeling natural to not aim down sights?
Yes. And I'm an aim down sight kind of guy, but
Me too.
This game,
I always aim down sights.
Dropping in behind us. They're trying
This
to
game was
flank us.
very.
Ship inbound.
I think this is about where I come over here.
We may have a problem here. These bastards are everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
Hilo, take the cover.
Dropship inbound.
Think they all ran away?
Enemy reinforcements by air.
I wanted to show you those pistol shots, but I know it was at the. Must have already passed it.
This is Pelican Echo 49.
Ah,
This is Fire Team Charlie. We read you. That you,
I love the look of the shields too, man.
Fire Team Charlie.
Oh
They've
yeah.
got this really cool glassy look.
Oh, here it is. I think it's these two guys that run up. Yep. This
All
is
right.
it.
Handgun action.
At least I thought so.
Got my hopes up.
Careful.
So
Maybe not.
So what was your impression now? So whenever it comes to like how closely does it capture that feeling? That
Oh,
you
I
got
felt like
from
it was dead on, that part of it. I mean, dude, I didn't want to stop playing it if that tells you anything. I was like, man, this is awesome.
Look,
So
more
they
life
recaptured
boats. They're coming in
the
fast.
loop that you the
Those
very
lifeboats
famous thing that
make
they
it
always
down,
talked
the
about, the
Covenant
30
are gonna be
seconds
right
of
on
fun
top of them.
that they would
Yes.
just repeat and repeat and
I
repeat.
forgot all about that, but yeah.
That was their whole formula is give you 30 seconds of fun and then let you breathe and then give you another 30 seconds of fun and just lather, rinse, repeat.
Warthog
Yeah,
looks
old
great.
friend.
Survivors will probably stick close to their emergency beacons. We need to find where the lifeboats landed.
I didn't even need a
We'll
waypoint right here. Like I knew exactly where I was
Exactly.
going.
It looks like our best route out of this valley.
And then that's it. That's where I cut it. But
Very nice.
I'd say my initial review and as remakes go, the fact that the quality of the remake, I would give a very high score out of 10, probably 8 or 9. Like I said, my only complaints was Cortana just seems off to me. I know it's cracking jokes about her looks, but to me that took me out of it. It was enough to take me out of it. I was like, it's not. The facial
it is something
expressions
where
aren't
it's like
the same.
everybody else is so like much more like highly detailed, and it seems like they took detail away from her. Like they seem to have like softened her features, smoothed some things out, and just made her look more nondescript as opposed to looking distinctly Cortana. So yeah, there's something a little bit wonky with the way that she looks, but
I felt like too the because I never felt like he got enough love, but the level of depth that they gave to Captain Keyes, the emotion wise, the emotions on his face, knowing, hey, I'm about to go down with my ship, even though that's not what happens. At that point, it's what he thought was going to happen. And he looked sad and he looked distressed and he looked proud. And you couldn't make that out in the original or even the remaster. Even though you probably knew that's how he felt. This one you could absolutely tell. And to your point, I think the Master Chief's armor, the sharp edges on it, the contours, it just looks fantastic. So yeah, I'm pleased with it, man. I'm looking forward to playing some more.
So obviously they went to great lengths to recreate, recapture, and duplicate a lot of the feeling from the original. But one
Yeah.
thing that we often see in remakes is them taking, whether they're great changes or small changes, they'll still make some changes for whether it's creative reasons, quality of life reasons. Did they make any changes that you noticed, whether it be controls, the way a weapon handled, anything outside of just the aesthetics? Did they make any actual like gameplay changes that were noticeable?
Well, other than the sprint, I haven't seen any yet. I know there's parts on that level that I'm on that are going to have some different segments that weren't in the original game. I'm not there yet. And as soon as they do, I'll let you know, obviously. But right now, the only thing I've noticed was the absolutely welcome addition of the sprint.
I was about to ask what you thought of this. I am pro sprint. If you ever want to know my opinion about sprint in a game, I'm pro. I'm for it. I'm always pro sprint.
Yeah, I've played Division with you, man, so I know you're pro sprint. This is a guy that'll be a mile and a quarter ahead of you, and you're just still back there chugging along.
Hey, man, they put it there for a reason, and the dude's like doesn't get tired really, so why not? So I'm glad, man. I'm glad that they so far didn't do any drastic changes and really tried to keep it and be. They really tried to do what we always ask for, which is give us what
be
we
what
had.
You are.
Yeah, give us what we had and just make it look better. That's all we really want. So some of the
funny thing is, the best thing I can say about it, and you just hit it, is if you'd have said what's your one-line review, I would say, you know what, man, it's Halo. And that is the best compliment you can give that game. It's probably the same way with, if I said, give me a one-line review of Black Flag, dude, it's Black Flag. And that's all you'd need to say. It's not, hey, it's Black Flag, but there's a little bit of Skull and Bones. It's,
Yeah, so some of the things that I had heard that were complaints, and these are some of the ones that I'd heard where I'm like, I don't think this would really bother me that much. So one was that obviously, so the voice actor for Johnson, I don't know if he's no longer alive or just unavailable, but he was not available to do to reprise the role. So they got somebody new that does a good job of sounding like Johnson. So that was one thing, but then they said like, oh, the script that he was given though was just there's not a lot of it's pretty flat, and I'm like, it's Halo. It wasn't like it was we're not talking about Chaucer here. Yeah. So
it's not a Christopher Nolan script.
Yeah, yeah, right. So there was that, but then there was also a thing where it was like they were showing clips from the original and then clips from the new one. And there's stuff where it kind of like does the introduction of Johnson, where he's like standing there with his back to the camera, and then he turns and he looks down the barrel of the camera, right, and delivers a line while everybody that he's actually talking to is behind him, and theoretically there's actually nobody that he's looking at, so
right.
And but it's like I don't care. Like, I mean, like that's not like a big deal to me. There's another part where like people are running past him. And then he, says like, "Oh, well, you're gonna get your chance today to do all this stuff," and everybody's already far beyond him. Nobody's there to hear him. I'm like, is this what we're gonna complain about? Like, I don't really care about that. Like,
some people just want to complain, man.
That's such a non-issue to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of the things that I heard there was just like, it didn't seem like. Again, it wasn't the remarkable witty dialogue that kept us engaged in Halo, right? The dialogue was always pretty bog standard. It was the narrative around it was certainly got deepened and developed over time, but the dialogue was never this really deep philosophical work of anything.
Right.
That was never the thing. So yeah, all these things that were being brought up, I'm like, I don't really think that that I don't know if the first one was what you think it was. Like I don't think this is all that much.
And it probably wasn't. They probably grew up watching their dad play it or whatever. And the other piece that I always loved about the original Halo, as opposed to all the rest of them, and I'll tell you what my favorite one was shortly, but it left a lot for you to create that lore in your head, right? So you're going down through those catacombs or through those, ancient sci-fi cities, trying to piece this story together, and you meet, Guilty Spark 343, and you kind of get some more of the lore, and you start piecing together. Okay, so there was the Forerunners, and then the flood happened, and then the Covenant came along, and you have to piece that story together for yourself, and that was part of that I enjoyed. Right. So I know for a lot of people, Halo 2 is their favorite because of the Arbiter and that whole good and bad, dark and light piece. Halo 3 was my favorite. I enjoyed it because I thought it had the fullest feature set, and I thought it had a decent story. But
Just no ending.
this one, yeah, this one is the first one was. I mean, it was the first one, dude. It was Halo. It was unlike anything anybody had seen in gaming at the time. Yes, it's a first person shooter, but that's about where the similarities ended.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably say, well, you can compare it to Doom or you compare it to Quake. No, you can't. You
Yeah,
really
the,
could.
the gun mechanics were just a completely different level, and like
Yeah.
going back to the 30 seconds of fun thing. Before this, it had always just been this nonstop barrage. Like
Yeah.
you start at a level and it's just enemies. It's just enemies, enemies, enemies until you get to the end and whatever. There wasn't this concept of like, you know, forming a level around a player's attention span and just their ability to problem solve for a minute, right? Like it's not like
Yeah.
let's not overload them. It's like, hey, let's let it's like a intermittent workout where it's like let's go hard for a little bit and then let's bring it back, let's recoup, let's recover, and then let's go hard again.
Yeah. And that's one thing I think that, and we're going to be talking about this a lot more as E-Day approaches, but that's one thing that Gears captured. The very first Gears was the same thing, that same 30 seconds of fun, because man, there were times in that game, and I don't care whether you're a young buck or an oldie, but you're like, man, I just need 5 minutes to
Yeah.
breathe, dude. I need to check my gear. I don't know what I've picked up.
Yeah, I don't know how
what's
much
going
ammo
on.
I've got.
I don't know how much ammo I've got. There's dogs and cats living together. I mean, you're
Let me
sitting there
just
and I'm
circle
like,
some of these corpses and try to pick some guns
Yeah.
off of these dudes.
I'm pretty sure there was a set of cog tanks back there I didn't get. It's every now and then you need a break. And so, a 5-minute walk down the street while you're talking to your buddy is okay with me. I don't need it to be mass hysteria every 3 seconds.
Yeah, and also there was this like really great variation of the way the guns felt, which
Yeah.
to take something. And I'm not trying to throw shade at Doom or Wolfenstein or anything like that. We
Yeah,
all
me
love those
neither.
games. Those are what got us here, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, everything felt the same. It wasn't like, oh, this gun feels. It's just this gun just did more damage. Like there wasn't like a different feel. They didn't handle differently. You didn't have a
Yeah.
thing where like, oh, you hold the trigger down and your reticle kind of goes off or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff wasn't a thing. So yeah, I think that a lot of people now, it's easy to kind of overlook how really seminal Halo was to kind of
Yeah.
like developing what we now conceive of as the FPS.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, I was just getting out of the service when that game was announced, and it was announced as a PC only game, and nobody knew or Microsoft was developing the Xbox. They kept it quiet for quite a long time, and then all of a sudden,
Then there's
Halo
The
got
Rock.
canceled. Halo got canceled on PC, and everybody was. I was a PC gamer, and everybody was like, "What the f, dude? That looks so good. Why did?" Then next thing you know, coming this Christmas, the Microsoft Xbox and Halo, and you're like, and dude, that was my game that brought me to console. That was it. That was my transition. Was
So
Halo.
if you were to dust off that crystal ball that I know you've got hanging around back there, and you were to try to do some divinations here and try
Yeah.
to figure out if they will. I mean, because obviously we know that Microsoft, there's been a ton of layoffs and all sorts of disruptions, things like that, all over the place. Do you think that they will continue on, do like the Resident Evil thing, and now we're going to get a remake of Halo 2? Do you think that they're going to try to like rebuild and correct some of the mistakes they made in the past by way of remakes?
I would love to say yes. I think that would be a smart move because it proved to work for Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
And a good remake, people forget the remake tag when you make a good one. Is
Yeah,
Resident Evil 2 remake, is it the same as the original RE2? No, it's not, but it tells the same story and it's very well done. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that like Halo right now has gotten so far away from where it started. I
Yeah.
don't know how you stick in that continuity and still bring it back. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how you redirect where we are. I think I would love to see them just say, "You know what? We're going to remake these, and in that remaking we're actually going to change the narrative and we're not going to make some of the mistakes that we made along the way, and then we're just going to
Well,
kind of have this new timeline. We're just going to reset it and go
Halo
that way with it."
Infinite, Halo Infinite almost killed the
Yeah,
franchise, man.
yeah.
Um, you look at the what are considered the great Halos. The original Halo, Halo 2's multiplayer is considered the best ever. Then Halo 3
People still
ODST.
play Halo 2 multiplayer, dude.
Oh my god! Hey, even on the like, I had the legendary edition, or is that what it's called? The legendary collection. I had it installed until I installed Halo Campaign Involved, and the amount of people on Halo 2 multiplayer is disgusting
Yeah.
on there. But Halo 3 ODST, a lot of people love that story, and Halo Reach, a lot of people love that game. Fantastic game. I even like the Halo
Halo Reach
War
was also the
strategy
last
game.
one that Bungie made.
Oh wow, I didn't even. Yeah, I didn't know that. So
So it was Bungie's. So it was a prequel, and it was also Bungie's farewell to the
yeah,
series.
but Infinite, like I said, I mean, they literally they pulled a Bungie with Infinite and shot themselves in the foot. So this is definitely, I think, a good way to come back is reconnect with your core fans, find new fans that are like, shit, this is what it was like when my dad was playing or my mom was playing. Because I know there was a lot of women that played Halo because I played with a lot of them on Halo 3. But still, anyway, yeah, I'm absolutely pleased with it. I absolutely am planning on finishing it for sure, just to get to the end of it again.
So your closing thoughts on the Halo campaign Evolved thus far? Big thumbs up. You
Yeah,
have
and
no big complaints.
it's a good start. I would like to reserve my final
Yeah.
judgment
Obviously,
for,
this is not a final review, not a final
not to
review.
mention, I'm just going to say this, and I don't want to admit to a phobia out loud, but like the Covenant or the Flood freaks me out, dude. Like anytime I get to the flood levels on Halo, I'm like, let's just get through it. Let's just get. I mean, they drive me batty, but so yeah, we'll see what happens when I get there and how the flood look in Unreal Engine 5.
All right. Well, I'm glad to hear that it is like it's what we hoped for. That's
Yeah.
always what I want to hear. So very good to hear
So
that.
we're 2 for 2 on remakes this month,
Yeah,
which is good
and speaking
news.
of that, I just to a few
Yes.
evolving
Well,
perspectives and thoughts on Black Flag. I did come across some of the classic issues that we ran into before. So yeah, as I was, I'm trying to like, because I'm doing my typical thing where it's like I'm trying to just hit all the things on the map, right? I'm doing the
yeah.
completionist thing, and so I'll focus on this. I'll do the Templar runs. I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll do the assassination missions for the pirate stuff, or all these things.
Those are the
Well,
ones that are in like the bird
yes,
cages.
yeah.
I love those things,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, and
I
each
love those
island
things.
has like 2 to 4.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you go through. So yeah, I was doing those, and then I was like,
What
you
a
know
great
what?
idea.
Yeah, and so finally I was like, you know what? Let me try to do a little bit of the because the manage like the fleet stuff because you don't have to actively do it. You just set them.
Right.
You set it and forget it.
I
Right.
love I love the fleet
I did
thing.
too. So I was like, let me go and try to do this. So I go to the fleet and there's things where it's like, oh, uh you can't do this mission. You got to like collect so many. So this was the first little annoying thing is, oh, you
Soft
have to
loading.
have so many trade goods. So you have to have enough trade goods to
Yeah.
do this mission. Well, whenever you go to a shop and you can buy something from, whether it's the gunsmith, the general store, whatever, Oh, no, there's no gunsmith. Sorry, that is the general store. But but you can go to those places or the ports and all this stuff. Anyways, one of the things that you can do is you can sell things, and a lot of things have like the sell junk button where it's just like, hey, you don't have to gather all your forks and spoons one at a time, right? Just hold this button,
Yeah.
it sells all the shit that you don't need. And there's a thing where you hold that down and it sells your trade goods. And so I was like, sold all my trade goods thinking I wouldn't need them. But then going to fleet, you need trade goods.
Oh
So
yeah.
then you have to like manage, okay, well, I got to have this many for this and then go. So I wish there was a way to just be like, just sell the crap you don't need. But
Yeah.
there was that thing. So not a huge thing, but it was a little bit of annoyance where I like went there to start it and I needed trade goods because I had already sold all my trade goods. I had to go gather more trade goods. Then I saw like, oh, okay, I can't do this mission because I need a man of war to do these
Yeah.
missions. So I was like, okay, well, load up everybody. We're going hunting, So it's like, let's go find one. So went through this whole thing, had to travel these different waters because you never know when they're going to pop up. I'm trying
Oh
to like
no.
kill ships to like get wanted levels, trying to do everything I could to like, conjure a man of war so that I could take it over and use it in my fleet. And
Yeah, because the
finally,
only way you can get those is through a hunter, right?
well, they can just show up randomly, but then you have to board them, take them over, and add them to your
Yeah,
fleet.
they're not the easiest takes to
Yeah, so
take.
that was the thing. So that's what led me to this, is I did not remember this aspect of
Oh
it.
yeah.
So I
Go ahead.
got them down, boarded them, and then
Yeah,
it's like,
here
okay,
we
you got to
go.
take everybody out. But then it's like, okay, you got to take everybody out. You also got to take out all the gunpowder and the flag. You got to take down the flag. I'm like, oh yeah,
And you got
I
to shoot the
forgot
two
about that.
guys that are.
Yeah, so I climb up. I do my whole thing. I go up there, chop the flag down, and I'm like, how do I get down? Like, how's the best way to get down?
Yes.
And then there like some of them, every once in a while there'll be like a hook somewhere that's not conveniently placed
Yeah.
that you can take down. But then there's other times where it's not there, and you're like, what? So I'm just trying to like circle, hold circle to go down, go down, go down, assuming that my assassin's not a fucktard and is just going to like actually grab whatever hanging surface is
Right.
lower, and I'm hanging on the edge of this thing. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking he's gonna like reach under and grab this rope, hold that,
Yeah.
and I just see Edward Kenway just set it all aside and just say he's not doing it anymore, and just
That's it. I'm done.
on his back, just boom, and he dies. And I'm like, no,
Right.
I was so close. So then I died trying to get this man of war because I killed myself. So now
Right.
I have to find it again. Now I have to find another man of war. So then I have to find this man of war. Found it again. Except this time it's surrounded by like 7 other ships. So I get demolished that time. So then I've died again. So then I have to find it a third time. And finally I get it this time. But yeah, that first time, man, I was killing it too. Like, we had lost hardly any health. Everything
Yeah.
was going so well. And yeah, just Edward Kenway let go. So I was like, oh yeah, I remember this happening before too.
I got to tell you, I got to the point playing the original where once I got to the top and did everything on the top, kill the 2 guys, cut the flag down, I started just running off to the side and jumping in the water and climbing back on the ship. Is
Not a
it
bad
pretty?
call.
Is it pretty? No. Did it guarantee me living? Yes. Which is more important at the end of the day.
Yeah, dude, it was so bad.
Yeah.
Like the pit in my stomach whenever I saw Edward just like falling down. I was like,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, maybe it'll just get me to a sliver and then I can just get. Nope, it was just straight up death. It was awful. But
Yeah.
I now have a man of war in my fleet, so I've sent that man of war. I've gotten the diving. I finally progressed the story far enough to like get the I was like, I need to at least get far enough that I can get the diving bell. So progressed the story far enough. I've got the diving bell now, so I can do the diving bell.
Do they still have the jellyfishes?
They do.
The electric jellyfishes?
Yeah, they've got some weird.
Damn it.
They've got some
Damn
weird
those
stuff
jellyfish.
going on with the jellyfish. There's like, were there ever any jet stream moments in uh, in the
No,
original. So there are moments
not
where
that I remember. Oh
you'll
yeah,
get
where it pushes you through the water
yeah, yeah,
and you
yeah.
can't. You're trying to dodge jelly, and
Yeah,
it's
you're going through
impossible.
holes and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they did have
Forget.
that in the original?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't remember those in the original, and all of a sudden, like, that happened, I'm like, "What are we doing? Like, what is
Yeah.
this?"
I
Uh,
remember at one point just going, you know what? I'm just going to let go and let God, man. And I'm going to get stung a bunch, but I'll get through it. I quit trying to. I'm like, it's impossible to dodge these fucking things.
yeah, it was kinda crazy. So now now that's just another whole thing of stuff on my map that I'm gonna have to go around and do because now
Yeah,
I've gotta get all the chests. I've gotta find all the chests underwater. I gotta do all that.
yeah,
But so still enjoying it, still having a good time.
good.
Haven't gotten as much this last week as I had in others, but yeah, I just had that one moment and I was like, okay, okay. I remember. I wish there was some sort of safeguard where it's like, hey, you probably thought that you were going to grab something lower, but this is actually going to send you to your death. So how about no? But instead they're like, okay, and just let you let
Yeah,
it go. All right, but that is my update there. Um, as far as some other game stuff, I know that you have some
I
game stuff
do.
that's going to be in depth. But one other quick thing I wanted to touch on to get your thoughts on this is along with everything else at Comic Con. Excuse me. We also got we got another trailer of the Wolverine. We got a story trailer for the
Yeah,
Wolverine
that
game.
actually was on my list. So I'm glad you brought that up, man.
So, do you have any initial thoughts
My
from
initial
what you have
thoughts
seen?
is that, and I do like the fact that this wasn't a gameplay centric trailer, which it really doesn't belong at Comic Con anyway. This was more of a cinematic story trailer, and that's what I wanted because I feel like we've seen a lot of gameplay, and I wanted to see what the story was. So to me, it felt like this whole story is going to center around Jean Grey and his fascination slash love slash whatever it is that he has for Jean Grey, and it looks like from the trailer that she's playing into it just swimmingly, like she's
So
all about it. But yeah,
this
that's what I
is
felt like.
this is the question where I know that some people are very unhappy about this, but I'm actually okay with it, and that is
The
this-
lore dogs.
yes. So this is confirmed to be in the same chronology and the same universe as the Spider-Man video games, which are obviously their own thing, right? They're doing their own
Yeah.
twists on things like that. So we have a lot of things that we're familiar with. They can take some notes from some very famous storylines and put some unique spins on it. Now, some people have a problem with that. I really like that. Now, two things here. One is they are not claiming to be anything other than our own thing. They are letting you know up front, we're remixing our own universe here. We're not saying that this is, 616 Earth. We're not trying to say
Yeah,
that
this
this
is not the
is yes.
prime Earth.
So they're not trying to claim to be anything else. And maybe this makes me a bit of a hypocrite because whenever you make a movie, I want to see some loyalty to the source material.
Yeah,
Otherwise it seems like you don't know what you're doing. Here, I actually appreciate whenever they take these risks and things like that because I guess because, whenever you make a movie, one of the things is a lot of people that aren't familiar with the core property are going to be seeing
yeah,
that movie. In the game, you're probably going to get very few people playing this game that aren't
that aren't
familiar with the core
right.
property.
It's going to
Um,
be lore dogs that are playing.
Yeah, but I appreciate whenever you play a game and you don't know what's happening, and you get to
Yeah,
take these. I enjoy this interesting, unique take where we have like for example, this Team X or X Team or whatever they're calling themselves, where it's Wolverine and Jean Grey and Mystique and Sabretooth, and they're led by Mister Sinister as a team together.
such
Like
an underused villain, dude. A
so
slash hero, it may be in this one.
Well, I think it's probably going to be a thing where, he goes one way and they go the other. We also have seen Trask. And I guess we can probably now say, before we were talking about, like, hey, maybe this is like hinting at Deadpool, pretty easy to confidently say it was not Deadpool. It was for sure the Hand.
Yeah.
Now, looking at this story thing. But so I guess that's my first thing is where do you fall on this thing where it's like, it is not following to really any great degree any established lore outside of some relationships and things like that. But we've got a team that never existed working for Mr. Sinister, which never happened. where do you come down? How do you feel about this completely new take on Wolverine and the characters around him?
Well, now that everything that we do now is based on a multiverse, I'm in probably the same camp you are. You take good characters and you plug them into a story that you want to tell. You can say, I'm on whatever Earth I want to be on. This is the story I'm telling. And especially when you're looking at Marvel characters, been so many versions and so many iterations of them that all I want is a good cohesive story, man.
Yeah.
It's like we talked about with Halo and with Black Flag. Give us what we're asking for. And we wanted a good Wolverine, beat him up, bloody up, do cool things with the claws, and tell a story that has a point A, a point B, and a point C and get us there. And it looks like they're doing that, man. And
Yeah.
everything this game has shown has pointed to them putting in the work
Yes.
to make this happen. And I love the Hand. I think the Hand's a good addition to a Wolverine story. That the Hand doesn't technically belong in a Wolverine story in prime,
616 Earth.
land.
Yeah.
And that's true. But if you take into account the Wolverine story of him, and the Silver Samurai bit, you could feasibly work the Hand into that, right? And when I first saw the shot of Jean Grey, at first I thought, well, that's Madame Hydra because she's wearing the green, which is Viper, which was also part of the Silver Samurai story. But of course, it turned out to be, Jean Grey and her alternate green, and a different take on that at that. So, I like the Wolverine Jean story. I think it's a good story because they're both rogues, dude, and not in the X-Men sense of rogue, but just as in general as a class. They're both
Wolverine's he's just a loner anyway, and Jean Grey's too powerful to be controlled.
Yes. So, unlike the Jean and Scott story, which has been used and abused and used and overused, where Scott's just the A1A Boy Scout, right? So, I'm actually more interested in how her story unfolds in this, because she is without a doubt one of the top 5 most powerful superheroes in the Marvel universe.
Level, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you look at Scarlet Witch and Marvel, or Captain Marvel, and
and I think there's I don't know if it's been officially announced, but it's also not a secret that their intention is to take this and have it lead into an X-Men game, like where you get a lot of people. And
which also makes sense, by the way, for bringing in Mr. Sinister, because there was a plot line where Sinister created evil clones of all the X-Men, and they ended up having to fight themselves. So, I mean, and Sinister's also worked with Doom, so there's a lot of tie-in you can do here.
And this is another thing. I love that it keeps you guessing, because you can see hints at a lot of these different things, but you're like, which threads will they pick up? And I think this is also another thing that I think makes it a unique situation, is that especially in video games, and let's be real, guys, this is Insomniac. All right, these guys are fucking nerds, and
that should be enough.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is like you have to be like, they themselves are lore hounds. That's why they're able to do this, is they can tell their own story, but still they'll do things like we saw it in Spider-Man constantly, where they're doing their own story, but they do something that was kind of like a look to the camera, like, we know, like we know what we're referencing here.
Insomniac has earned the street cred where they can just almost go, hey, we're Insomniac. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. Just wait till it comes out. Trust me, you're going to love it. Yeah.
And it was also confirmed that this is, so obviously Spider-Man, open world New York. It's an open world environment. This will not be that.
Done so well, man.
It was done so well.
Oh my God. All of them were.
They are not carrying that over to this. This will be levels. Now, granted, they're obviously, from what we've seen, they look to be some pretty large levels, but this looks to be more something along like the lines of like a 007 First Light, where like the levels may be large, but they are still levels.
And that fits a Wolverine game, because when you're talking about Wolverine,
especially as he's globe hopping,
well, that and the fact that he doesn't have the traversal that Spider-Man has. Yeah, sure, they could have gave him a motorcycle, and then we'd have the ether cycle that comes out of nowhere anytime you need it, right?
Which will kill you. It is, yeah.
There it is. Pops a cigar. cycle shows up, right? So that makes no sense to me, and they've got to stop doing that shit. But I think levels works because you could make it. We saw a segment where it was basically on rails. He was on a truck and he bound to a train or something like that, vice versa.
He was jumping like from one truck to another as he was like taking people out.
And that works because Wolverine in the area has always got the claws out. He's coming down with them, right? So, but I don't think an open world like upstate New York outside of the Xavier, I don't think that shit works with him, man. I think you need levels.
No, I think that's a good point. I think the more like Uncharted approach.
Oh yeah,
like the Uncharted games. I think that works where they're big levels. And I'm sure we're going to have these moments that are programmed in where it's like, hey, once you get to this part of the level, there's going to be this big, this big showstopper sequence that's put in. I think it's a good way to handle it. And again, like we said, he's globe hopping. We've seen him go to like, Tokyo and all these different areas. And he's like up north. And, so we're seeing all these different things. Like they can't tell the story they want to tell in an open world thing. It works for Spider-Man because Spider-Man's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spider-Man patrols New York. That's what he does. But Wolverine is going to be all around the globe. So I'm really interested to see how they handle it. I'm even more intrigued by it than I was before. We've seen them also we've seen a lot of alternate costumes. We've seen a lot of different costume variations.
Yeah.
And we've gotten a lot of those different things confirmed. So I'm very happy to see that, which again is very much like Spider-Man and the other stuff that Insomniac's done. So to see that, I'm very excited. So I am not one of these people that's so precious about the lore because I enjoy whenever they do alternate universe comic books. Whenever they would do the Ultimate X-Men or this, like some other universe. This is just that to me, and I enjoy that where it's like, hey, the things that about these characters, those things are still there, but we're just going to kind of remix the way that things happen and kind of throw in some unpredictability. I love that.
I do too, man. And again, I was bringing up to my son last week the old Wolverine game that was based on the Origins movie. And while a lot of people didn't like that movie, that game was well received and well loved. So anytime I can crawl into the Logan claws out and doing the snick, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, looks like it's going to be fun.
All right. Well, I just wanted to touch on that while we could now. So now I'll let you go into your deeper topic that I'm very curious to hear you take on.
Well, you might be, and then you might go, "Oh God!" So anyway,
I'll just cut you off at that point.
Obviously, about a year ago, I brought up Star Wars Genesis, which was a user-created mod for Starfield for Starfield, and then recently I brought up Marvel Heroes Omega, which was recovered from abandonware and rebuilt basically from the ground up and reopened and given, especially in a time where a lot of people don't know who Dr. Doom is, and we've got this Doomsday movie coming out, and now the servers are just jam-packed with people because the whole plot line revolves around Dr. Doom in that game. Coming into that game and playing as any number of 63 different heroes or villains. So the next one I want to do tonight is based on a game that a lot of people know, most have not played, and that is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, the sequel to Mountain Blade. So this game, for those that don't know, you see the screenshot behind me, and I'm going to show you the trailer here in a second, is basically a fictitious medieval Europe simulator, sort of. So if you're a Skyrim person, you would love this game. And if you're
a Kingdom
Age
Come
of
Deliverance,
yes, or if you are an Age of Empires person, this is one of the first games in history that will allow you to play it either on the ground or as an RTS or as a hybrid of both. So before we get into what I really want to talk about tonight, which is not Mountain Blade Bannerlord, I'm going to give you the trailer to Mountain Blade Bannerlord, which is about a minute long. And so you can kind of see what we're dealing with here. Now, this one, obviously, they wanted to showcase the ground level stuff, so this is mostly taken from the ground level. But you see a bunch of different types of cultures that we've seen over the ages. The English, the French, you saw some Middle Eastern there. But full siege mechanics and battles. You play as the leader of your group, but you start out with nobody. You have to recruit everybody. So you'll start out with a squad of like 4 guys eventually, and build it up to an army of 600 to 1,000. And then you'll join a faction and create your own, basically, house. So this was the original Bannerlord. It was released in 2016. They just released new DLC last year called War Sales. And War Sales adds naval combat, so big factor there. But all the stuff you loved in Braveheart, not any movie you've seen like this, is in this. Now, that being said, after we're talking about Genesis and talking about Marvel Heroes Omega, somebody, and I got in late on this one, man. I was not an early adopter like I was on Genesis. Somebody created basically a Song of Ice and Fire mod, full conversion for Mount and Blade Bannerlord. It's called A Realm of Thrones.
Now, are we talking like a Genesis level reskin?
Yes, for this game, yes. It has reached monumental peaks as far as how far it's come. When it first came out, it was very, very rough. It was rough midway through it. But after the advent of the War Sales DLC, they've just recently launched their 8.0 version. And man, I don't even know what to tell you except to show it to you. So that's what I'm going to do for all you. And folks, this is very much more HBO Game of Thrones than book Game of Thrones. But when you see this, if you like these kind of games and you haven't seen this yet, it will blow your mind. And you'll wonder why we don't actually have a good Game of Thrones game.
Oh, man. You already see the White Walkers? Do they have anything even, like, analogous to dragons in the OG game?
No.
So like, they don't even have anything that they're reskinning, like that fly.
No.
That was, wow.
Look at this shit, dude. The entirety.
Westeros.
Hold on, there it is. And folks, you can walk right into the keep.
The throne.
I don't even know what to say, man. Look at, there's the Lannister armor. I love it. They're doing this like the show, obviously, where they're
Dragonstone, nice.
And then there it is where you're on the ground level. That other level you're seeing is the RTS level. Dude, look at this
table.
Dude. This is ridiculous. I don't even know what to tell you. This is ridiculous. And I wish he had all the cities pinpointed, but he doesn't. Got the moon door.
I'm sure they're still, though, continuing to add to this, right?
What's that?
I'm sure they're still continuing to add to this.
Oh my god, yeah. And they've got set piece battles you can do, like Battle of Blackwater Bay and that whole bit. Look at this, man. Forget about it. Why isn't a AAA developer done anything even remotely close to this? Look at this. I feel like you're on set.
This is wild.
Got the Godswood.
Got the tree, yeah, man.
Yeah. You can actually choose as your faction white and play as a white and join the Night King's army. Watch, here it is. Watch this.
Oh, we're going to the wall?
Yeah.
We're going to the wall.
Longclaw. Look at that, man. Forget it.
That's crazy.
And this is not the easiest mod to install, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. You have to put some work in.
So how much of this mod have you gotten to play? Like, how many hours have you gotten to spend with it?
Oh, I'm only in probably about a couple hours, dude, into this mod so far. And it looks like my little group, I'm trying to get in with the Baratheons. So I haven't even made it to, so the other thing is all the things that happen in the story happen whether you're a part of it or not. So you'll get a message saying Ned Stark was just beheaded in King's Landing. And you're like, okay. and then eventually, if you don't take him out 500 days after you start, the Night King will invade Westeros.
So you are working against the clock.
So yeah, so this is the other way to play it, and
It is always nice to see.
Whoa. That is,
well, you have to use the
Are you
models
here
that are in the game.
yeah, that was the first jump scare of the trailer.
Yeah, but there's the Dothraki horde. Looks great, man. I mean, it looks fantastic. And you're just one guy in that whole mess right there.
See, the real crazy thing for me is the dragon, because it's like you said, it's not reskinning something that already existed. They're having to make it from scratch.
The Unsullied. So it's very much an RPG, and that's a lot of people get turned off when they see the real-time strategy part. But again, you don't even have to do that.
I see Joffrey.
Yeah.
Can you just kill him? Can you kill him?
Well, I guess you could if you got up too close.
That's the Westworth price of admission right there.
Yeah. Just the level of detail these guys got into.
Oh, wow.
So many different factions you can. Yeah, man. I guess you could start out on the Night's Watch and just catch the Ravens as they come in, telling you about what's coming, because that's what's coming.
So, what did you start out as? Now that you're playing, like, what are you going in as?
I'm a Westlander. So that's out there where Storm's in, the Stormlander, sorry. And then because I wanted to get into with the Baratheons. Because I feel like everybody probably either starts as a Stark or a Lannister.
That armor, man, is just gnarly.
Yeah, man. And they're not really showing it here, but like the melee is, yeah, there it is. It's just, I love this, and it's also upsetting that only a small fraction of gamers will ever get to experience stuff like that. And it bugs me because that is, if that game was on the market right now and you could buy it, people would buy that thing in a heartbeat. And granted, we do have a game coming out called War for Westeros, and it looks good. But it's been delayed twice. And meanwhile, we've got this that's just been cooking for, 3 or 4 years, and it looks fantastic and it plays well. So, sorry, I think you're muted.
Oh, my bad. I wonder how many people are working on it.
I don't know what the size of this team is. I mean, this is a more than one person one. This is probably, just the map alone. Yeah. And the assets that they're doing is, and then the dialogue they've hired AI, excuse me, I said that wrong. They've hired actors to do the voice lines. But these are probably people that are recording voice lines from their couch.
Oh yeah.
So, But still, they're doing voice lines instead of us just reading blocks of text all the time.
Yeah, as you continue to play and develop some more thoughts, I'm interested to see
Yeah,
how it goes, because I mean, obviously it's got to be it's going to be a completely different narrative than the original that you're familiar with.
correct. And I want to put together. I want to do a playthrough first so that I can make all my mistakes. Figure out what I did wrong, and then do a legit like my role play
Hmm.
of life in that. My life in that just for my turns, but and see what kind of history I can change. Because one of the things you can do, like I saw another guy doing it. He was like, "Look, I'm just gonna work the wall,"
I'm
and
just going to get
he's
a
like,
job.
I'm gonna let history pass me by." And then eventually the Night King came down and crossed through the wall, and he had to run south and deserted the wall. But like he could pull up the click on the Night King's army, and it would give him a list of all the people that were in the army, and you would see like famous people that you knew from Game of Thrones that were now whites, Thoros of Myr, and people like that. And you're like, shit, Derek
They
Dondarrion, and
got him.
they're like, damn it, they got him, right? So still, just a really cool feature, man. And I just wanted to bring it up and showcase it tonight. And hats off to these guys. And as I play it more, obviously I'll share more with it. But it's been fantastic so far.
Yeah, well, I'm very intrigued. Yeah, please continue to.
But I would encourage anybody to
Tell
play
us.
the regular. I mean, the regular game is fantastic, and you have access to it on Game Pass. And if you folks that are PS Plus members, it was a free game. It's a free game on Extra.
And if you get it on PC, then you get access to mods.
And yes, absolutely.
Are there any other gaming stories that you wanted to touch on?
There's some that might come out of stuff that we got going on. Let me see what I got here. No, the Wolverine cinematic trailer was the last one I had. Everything else was Comic-Con related, non-gaming.
So that's what I want to go into. Because that's our other big thing on our title is so we asked, is Halo back? Did they do it? Sounds like from what you've played so far, again, not a final review, but so far from what Jay's gotten his hands on with, yeah, they got it right. Halo's back. And then the other question is, man, after hearing what we've heard over the weekend and from Comic-Con, is Marvel back? Like, we talked about last week about how we were surprised that we still cared whenever we saw the trailer for Doomsday. I thought I was so unhyped for Doomsday, and then I watched the trailer and I cared, and I didn't think I would. And then we get what we got. Are they back?
Man, I'm gonna adopt what I call the Russ Mason philosophy for this one, and say I don't want to say that they're back because they haven't proven anything yet. As far as what they've shown me, they have a way back.
Yes. Yeah.
In what they've displayed, this is a definitive. If they don't screw it up, this is the way you come back, as if all these things work, because they are all tied in. You're giving the people what they want. Massive fan service to so many different heroes and fans of certain hero groups. And dude, world class actors that still got it.
So that's the big thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Like leading up front is we got it confirmed that Ryan Gosling will be Johnny Blaze in a new Ghost Rider film.
Did they say Johnny Blaze?
I mean, it
I
was
don't
implied.
think they did.
I think it was implied somewhere.
Because there's like 12 different Ghost Riders, and it made me wonder if he was going to play Johnny Blaze or not.
Well, so Ryan has been wanting to play Ghost Rider for years.
Ever.
He has been campaigning for this and lobbying for this for years. And just like I am disinterested in Star Wars just because of what Disney has done to it at the moment, but I have faith in Ryan Gosling's movie because it's Ryan Gosling. Like, this guy doesn't make duds. He can choose what he wants to do, and he can turn down something, and he's still going to be filthy rich. Doesn't matter. Something else is going to come along. So the fact that he signed on for this, I don't think that he would just do it just because, hey, I've wanted to play Ghost Rider. Here's a shitty script, but I get to play Ghost Rider. I'll go ahead and sign on the dotted line. I don't think that's I don't think that's how
Yeah.
he operates. I think that he was given a treatment of the script and a vision of the future, and that's what got him to sign on. So the fact that Ryan Gosling is on there, and like you said, world class actors,
Yeah.
and I am that already got me energized, and I was like, okay, wow, they're they're serious. So we also got confirmation that uh we will get a new Black Panther. So we will now get T'Challa's son will take over the mantle of Black Panther. So what happens to Siri? We don't know. We'll see. Maybe
She's
something in
in it.
Doomsday. But so we're gonna get a new Black Panther, a younger Black Panther. We also, it was announced today. I know some people are going to be upset, I'm sure. To me, this is a positive. We got the announcement that is it Mr. Marvel, is that what, or Wonder Man, sorry, Wonder Man was canceled for season 2. And to me, this is a positive. I know that some people liked season 1, but it just seemed like one of those unnecessary things. Like, it's a little known character that people don't really care about, and the whole thing that we need to do right now is what got us in the position whenever Marvel was on top to begin with, and that's focusing on characters that people know and love and keeping that roster tight. Like, letting going too far out, having too many things to follow and too many characters to care about was one of the first downfalls. So it seems like we are kind of already, even before Doomsday, we're already seeing signs of this collapsing in of that roster of heroes that we're going to be following.
And I think it's important too to note that I absolutely love Sir Ben Kingsley. I think he's a world class actor, and I like Yahya Abdul Mateen. I
Yeah.
think he's been fantastic in everything, and I thought he was good in Wonder Man for what they gave him script wise. He was absolutely great. I don't know if you saw the remake. Well, it's not a remake. His Man on Fire series
I did
from
not.
the Denzel movie. Fantastic, man. I mean, it lights out. Great show, and they did it as a show instead of a movie. So I hope he finds his footing somewhere else. It's unfortunate for those two folks because they were so good and are good. But again, I think Marvel's doing a thing where they're centralizing their talent pool and getting it down to a manageable roster. And still, it's a gigantic roster. And Kevin Feige said himself, he said, my only failure that I consider my biggest failure so far was Blade.
And
And
there's no excuse. There's no excuse for not being
and
able
he
to do
knows it.
Blade.
And
Yeah.
in his defense, man, he knows it. He's like,
'Cause
we fumbled and dropped the ball and we failed miserably.
they're like, we got to find a story here.
Yeah,
The story is you got a dude with a silver sword killing vampires, man.
yeah,
Like, it's not that hard. Like, this is what, like, everybody loved Wesley Snipes in the Blade movies that we got, which were,
yeah.
speaking of Halo not being Chaucer, neither were the original Blade movies, dude.
No,
Like, it was pretty straightforward what was happening, and
yeah,
we loved it. We loved it. So the fact that it was already not a good idea. Like, Mahershala Ali is as well a phenomenal actor, but he was already getting up in age when they
yeah.
signed him, and it was already like, man, you how many Blade movies could you get out of Mahershala Ali at this age? Two,
And
before it was.
definitely no martial arts. It would probably all be CG
Yeah,
or
and it's
stunt
like,
double with like the CG face.
yeah, which again, going back to, so Spider-Man, the one that we've got coming out now, like, it was done practically. That's
Yeah,
another thing that we're hearing a lot. Like, so many, obviously, there's still going to be some special effect shots for sure, but
yeah,
as much as they could do practically, they did practically. That's why so many people are talking about his suit this time. It's because, well, that suit was real. A lot of the suits that very select shots previously was the suit real to any degree. Usually it was just like a green leotard or whatever, and the suit is CGI on top of that. Um,
yeah.
So this is a legit Lycra spandex Spider-Man suit. So I'm hoping that we're going back towards this thing of doing more practical shots. So doing people that can do stunts or have stuntmen instead of CGI, things like that. I hope that we have not given up on Blade. I hope that we can still do a Blade movie, but it definitely needs to be somebody younger than Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, and they've got people to pick from. I feel like. I mean, you got Michael B. Jordan out here just lighting it up with hits. Why not? Why not run him in it? And he's coming out this summer and one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's already been remade once by Pierce Brosnan and was excellent. But he's doing Thomas Crown Affair this summer.
Ooh.
Or not this summer, this year. But so you get somebody like that, he could definitely pull Blade off.
Especially if we're doing this whole big reboot, like, okay, yeah, he was Killmonger, but if we're doing this big reboot after Doomsday, who cares? You can remix.
Mahershala was Cottonmouth.
Yeah, true.
In Luke Cage. So, and don't get me started on Chris Evans and Ryan Reynolds, because they've both done more heroes than probably anybody else in existence on both sides of the comic aisle.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know, man. I am encouraged. I am surprisingly encouraged by what I've been seeing with Marvel. What?
I want to say, because I don't want us to forget it, and we will if I don't say it now. Super excited to see Haley Atwell back as Agent Carter, and it was cryptic. She's like, it's not what you think it is, and she was like, I can't talk about it. She goes, but it's not what you think it is, which has me worried. So, not worried in a bad way, worried in a good way. Not worried that it's going to be bad, but worried about what's she doing? What's her role? Is she going to be on the other side? Is it an alternate history where she's like the, like the reverse Red Skull? But so it'll be interesting. But I'm glad they brought her back, because her show was canceled with little to no fanfare, and it was sad because that was a good show.
It really feels like Marvel and Disney have been taking notes. I mean, because they ran both Marvel and Star Wars into the ground. Like they turned these things, they turned $1 billion franchises into $1 million franchises.
Well, first off, Star Wars, I'm not blaming that one on Disney. I'll totally blame Marvel on Disney.
Well, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy, but
it was one woman that ran Star Wars into the ground.
But Disney let her do it.
Has nothing to do with her gender. She was just a shitball of a person trying to rewrite a narrative that she wanted, and she failed miserably.
Yes.
She literally alienated her entire fan base. Sorry, man, that'll turn into a rant. We better keep going with Marvel.
No, I get it. But yeah, so we Disney let both of those things happen. They let Star Wars crumble into nothing. They let Marvel crumble into nothing. So whatever machinations are happening in the background that we're not seeing, I'm sure there'll be another book about it at some point to get some insider scoops. But it really looks like I'm not saying that it's happening, but it's very positive signs. Very positive signs. More signs of life than I've seen from the MCU in years.
Yeah. And I just want to say, you brought up Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. The other big one for me, maybe not big, maybe big. So somebody walked around the entire San Diego Comic-Con Convention Center in a gray Deadpool suit all day, taking pictures with people. And of course, people were walking up because, having been to a few of those types of festivals myself and conventions, you just walk up to people that are cosplaying, you get pictures made with them. What sucks is when you find out 2 hours later that person was Ryan Reynolds and they were just wearing the gray Deadpool suit. When Robert Downey Jr. called him out on stage and he picks a mic up, and as soon as he said, first time caller, long time listener, everybody knew, and people were going nuts. They were like, "Oh my god!"
And you can hear the realization that some of those people were like, "I saw that guy on
son of a bitch," right? So, but it begs the question, because he was wearing the X-Force Deadpool costume,
which is cannot be a mistake.
That cannot. I bet he didn't know that suit existed, even though he technically formed X-Force in the movie. But but that he still wore the red. That was one of the things, by the way. If we'd had this show going when that came out, Deadpool 2, I'd have been like, why wasn't he in the gray? But and technically Wolverine should have been there too, also in the gray. But it makes you wonder, much like they're hiding this big chunk of Spider-Man that we're going to talk about later. Are they hiding a big chunk? And I know they're hiding big chunks of Doomsday. We all know that. Is
because
he going to show up there?
one thing that people are forgetting. So we know that there's this Doomsday thing that's coming. And
Yeah.
this is going to be what we assume to be, and what I have assumed from the beginning to be, a complete reset of everything. And that's how we're going to work the X-Men in and all this stuff, and how we're going to cull some of the roster and focus back in.
Yeah.
But something that people are forgetting, there's another project that will take place after Doomsday that is also monumental in the comics, and that is Secret Wars. Secret Wars is confirmed. Yes. They are working on Secret Wars. So after Doomsday, there will be Secret Wars. And Secret Wars, for those that might not be aware, Secret Wars was actually where the black suit Spider-Man first debuted. And it was not the Venom suit. It was a different situation.
A lot of people get that one confused. The symbiote suit and the black and white suit are totally different suits.
Yeah. So we could get there, even if some of the stuff doesn't happen on Doomsday, we could still see a lot of these things happen on Secret Wars.
Well, and it's funny to me because Liam McIntyre, the guy that's playing Wolverine in the game, is also an actor. And not only is he also an actor, he's an athletic actor, having played Spartacus after Andy Whitfield's, way too soon passing.
Yeah.
Took over the role of Spartacus and did a great job, and also played the Weather Wizard in Flash on the CW, which not a huge athletic role, but still a role nonetheless. So it'd be cool to see an X-Force Deadpool Wolverine. And I get it, Hugh Jackman's got the golden ticket for playing Wolvie still, but it'd be kind of crazy.
I think Secret Wars might be where Hugh Jackman kind of rides off into the sunset. Not permanently. I think they'll still reserve the right to call him back in for whatever, but I think there will be a passing. I think we will get to a point where there are two Wolverines. There is Hugh Jackman's Wolverine that they'll leave it open where he can still pop in and do something periodically, but we will have a Wolverine that is much closer in age to these new X-Men so that they can age through it. We will get to a point where we'll have two Wolverines, and I suspect Secret Wars will be where that happens.
I hope it's Wolverine though and not Wolverina. I really do. When I say that, I
X-23.
mean X-23. Yeah. That will drive me up the bargain wall if it's Wolverina. And that's when I become a Lord Dog and go, no. You still have to have Wolverine. You can have X-23, but there's only one Wolverine. And speaking of that, we're also obviously we've got Rebecca Ramon is in it as Mystique. We got Kelsey Grammer back as Beast. We got Marsden back as Cyclops.
It was cool to see that Kelsey Grammer was going to be Beast.
But I got to say, and I'm going to ask this question once, and there's going to be the obvious answer. Then there's the not so obvious answer. I took the Doomsday trailer and I paused it pretty much frame for frame as I worked myself through it. And I've never done that before. This was the first time I'd ever done that. And
now, see, old Marvel would have been ready for you. I don't know if new Marvel is quite as meticulous.
So my question is, who was Mystique fighting in the trailer? The easy answer is Yelena, because they show scenes of her fighting Yelena, even becoming Yelena and then turning back. But there is a split second where Gambit drops into the room. He's fighting Shang-Chi, and then it cuts to Cyclops doing his uber ultimate power move where you have to hold down all four shoulder buttons to get the power move done. And he does that optic blast. And then there's a quick shot back in that room with Gambit and Shang-Chi. And then behind them, about 12 feet away, is Catherine Remain fighting someone wearing a red mask. And that's the only thing you can see. Now, there's people saying it's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I don't think that's true.
What kind of is it, like a balaclava kind of mask, or?
Yes, it's a form-fitting Spider-Man, Deadpool type of mask. Hand, I guess. The hand will have already been outdone though by Spider-Man Brand New Day. So I
I mean,
definitely
they are
don't
in
think it's
there.
the
Maybe
hand.
they're not outdone. Maybe they're just, maybe we're just beginning to see the hand, and they'll continue to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and the hand's a good enemy because they tie into so many franchises of the mystical arts with Iron Fist and
And they're
Doctor
a part of
Strange
this
and all
new
those
Wolverine
guys.
game. Like, so,
Yeah,
like,
and they're part of the new Wolverine game. I hope it's not the hand, but she obviously was not fighting Yelena at this point. She was fighting somebody with a red mask on. And a reddish, like you saw like one side of one arm, so it was still red there too. I also couldn't make out if there was anything other than red. Like, was it textured? Did it have a pattern on it? The red just kind of stuck out.
right.
So I don't know what that was about, but that was unique. And then also the second day when they did the second Marvel panel, where they brought out Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, and Evangeline Lilly. So we got to see them, which was cool because I had assumed maybe you did too, when you saw the original panel, the people that were there were the people that could be there, and
Yep.
everybody else just wasn't able to be there. But apparently that wasn't the case. Apparently it was by design.
Well, I was really happy that Evangeline Lilly was there. I mean, she's had a lot of health struggles, in recent years.
I heard that. I don't know what it was, but I heard that.
Yeah, she had gotten a pretty serious head injury.
Oh shit!
Like, and
Okay.
had a lot of issues to overcome as a result of it.
Yeah, I know the girl that played Lady Sif, Jamie something, because I loved her in Blind Spot. I don't know if you
Mhm.
watched the show
Oh,
Blind
yes,
Spot.
yes. Yeah.
She was fantastic in that, and she had some kind of health scare that I thought was head related as well, and I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, dude, back to your original point: is Marvel back? I don't have an answer for that question. Does it look like they're trying to, and that they have a good way? Yes.
Yeah, are they back? I don't know, but it sure as hell looks like they're finally listening, at least.
Yes.
Like,
One person
all
that
the
I
times that we've said something, it looks like they finally heard.
some people that I was glad I didn't see up on that stage, Brie Larson, whoever played Kamala Khan, and so didn't have to worry about that. Wonder Man. I was going to say something else, but I can't do that because that was the DC panel. But anyway, I'm excited again, and about both franchises. I think both franchises have a way forward, and both in games and movies. Star Wars with the Ryan Gosling basically Top Gun movie, which is going to be awesome, and this new game Zero Company, which I don't know if they've been releasing a lot of dude, this game looks very deep and very nuanced, and not one of those just on the surface type titles. So yeah, looking forward to it all.
Yeah, me too. And this just goes to show, like we've been saying, like all of us nerds have been saying this because everybody's like, oh, it's superhero fatigue. It's superhero fatigue. We're like,
Yeah.
no, it's not superhero fatigue. It's bad movie fatigue.
Bad movie
like,
fatigue.
Comics have been a thing forever. All these products, the reason these products are these billion-dollar franchises is because people love them and they're not fatigued by superheroes. It's bad movies. And then you do just a few things. All we've seen is hints. It's just a few things, and my excitement, my enthusiasm is returning. It's back. I'm wondering what they're doing.
Well-
What are they cooking up? Like, all you got to do is listen and cater to the people that got you there in the first place. Dance with who brung you, as they say in the South. Yeah, this is all you needed to do. It was always there.
It's funny, but like at work, and we talk a lot of movies and TVs at my job, but I can tell you right now, everybody, it's Lioness because this new season's coming out. Ted Lasso, because we all love Ted Lasso. Never has a Marvel movie come up. And now this week, I've got people coming out. I didn't even know they liked that stuff, right? And I didn't say anything unless they said it first. But, they were coming. They're like, man, you want to see Spider-Man this weekend? I'm like, yeah, I am. And I was like, I would have never guessed you. Oh, man, I freaking love those Marvel movies. And you're starting to see that kind of excitement again. And, it's exciting. I could care less about the popcorn buckets and drink cups associated with Spider-Man. But
I think it's also very smart that they're spinning all of it like that. Like, this Spider-Man movie is really kind of the launch of this
Yeah.
of this whole doomsday run. Like
Yeah.
this is it's really starting from Spider-Man, and that's good because Spider-Man like has never had a dud in the MCU. He's the only person that you can still put him in there, and he's gonna break box office
Yeah.
records every time. Like people, they he's still putting out bangers. So
Yeah.
launching it off this that they're like rain, snow, sleet, or shine, people are gonna show up for Spider-Man.
Oh my
That's
god.
a good call.
I saw a guy doing hot takes this morning. He's like Marvel hot takes, and he's like, "This might be controversial, but Tobey Maguire was the worst Spider-Man ever." And I'm just like, "You shut your whore mouth."
I hear a lot of people say that Tom Holland is the worst Spider. I'm like, there's no Tom Holland's a
None
great
of them are.
Spider-Man. Yeah,
I mean, if anybody, I gotta say, Andy Garfield's the whiniest Spider-Man ever, but he was still a good Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Those were still good stories, but yeah, man,
there were no Spider-Man. They're bad Spider-Man. They were just bad Spider-Man bad Spider-Man stories that they were telling.
Yes, but yeah, Tom Holland has been an excellent Spider-Man. I don't care what anybody says.
So yeah, I'm very interested to see how Marvel continues forward. I didn't think that I would be interested. I didn't think I would care. I didn't think I would give a shit. And here
Yeah.
I am, very much caring,
Giving a shit.
very much giving a shit. So
Yeah.
and I'm excited. I'm excited for tomorrow evening whenever I get to drive and I get to watch Spider-Man with my son. I'm stoked about it. I'm looking forward to it. And I haven't felt that for a Marvel property in a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Well, man, in an effort to segue to other Comic-Con announcements, but not be abrupt about it, I'm going to segue into the Lanterns trailer that we saw for the DC Universe TV side, because I thought that trailer was fantastic, man, with Aaron
I
Pierce and
have
Kyle, whatever
actually
his name
not
is.
seen it yet.
Oh my God. You should have
I've-
told me I'd have brought it on here tonight, but
I've been
it's
a bit.
it's like a 4-minute trailer that they did at Comic-Con, and it is and the coolest thing about the whole thing is somebody, they're sitting in a bar talking to a girl, and Aaron Pierce, I guess that's his name, right? Aaron Pierce, the guy that's playing Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm kind of the one in training or whatever. And she just looks at him and goes, "Oh, so you're the backup quarterback." And he's like, "Yeah, I guess." But then later, Kyle is talking to Sinestro. Obviously, they're on the planet Oa, and he plays Hal Jordan, and Sinestro's his lifetime enemy. And he goes, "You're not training a backup, Hal." And he goes, "You know what you're training." And Hal's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Say it." He goes, "I'm training my replacement." Such a powerful line, right? And then the fact that Nathan Fillion crashed the DC panel because his character, Guy Gardner, is a tie-in to the movie universe, is going to be in this Lanterns, apparently, at least for a little bit. So we're going to have all 3 Lanterns in this show at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I know that they let this be an HBO show. I know that Nathan
Thank
Fillion
God.
said that he has said the F
some
word more
F-bombs
times
yes.
than any other thing
Probably
that he's ever worked on ever.
Well, he's never been outside of syndicated television, man. So yeah, this is excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that it's very much going to be an HBO show. So they're doing, which I'm fine with. I like that. I like that. Like whenever we have that separation between the main MCU and then Daredevil, where they're like, no, we're gonna push some boundaries here.
Yeah.
Like I like that. I'm all for that. Where it's like, hey, you know what? We can have these fun little happy stories, but for the people that have grown up with this, the people that want more adult, darker stories, we can really get in there and we can have a more mature, themed show that still ties into this thing that we all love. I'm all for that. I know some people don't like that. I do like that.
My thing, and for me, it's always going to be, it's not about the content. It's about the realism. If you're walking down the street in New York in Hell's Kitchen and you step on a guy's new Jordans that he just bought, he's not going to say, "Hey, pal, watch it." He's going to say, "Dude, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Scuffed up my new Jordans." And Daredevil does that, right? So that, for me, that's realism, because that's the way real life is.
Yeah,
It's
there's not that
unfortunate,
thing where,
but
like you
that's the way
said,
it
whenever
is.
something happens and somebody's like, "Hey, guy, why would you do?" You're just immediately taken out of it. Like that doesn't
Yeah,
feel authentic to me.
that ain't right. It's fucking Brady Bunch Marvel or whatever.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, man. So DC's got that going on with the lanterns. I wasn't even remotely excited about it, but I am now because it looks like they're grounding this show. It's not going to be. Of course, the only thing we had to go on from a live action standpoint was the Reynolds
yeah. And
fiasco.
as we've kind of talked about in recent episodes, as we talked about more grounded takes on things, like we get that we're talking about lanterns and superpowers, but there's like a grittiness to it. Like
Yes,
it doesn't have that same level. Like even though you're still seeing fantastical things,
yes,
there's just somewhat the way that it's handled is just a lot more believable, a lot grittier, and just feels a lot more like like the best kinds of like alien encounter movies where like yeah
yeah.
it's science fiction but you're watching it and you're like I
This
can
shit can
see that
happen.
happening like I can see that happening like tomorrow, you know.
Yeah. And and I'm not going to spoil it for you because I want you to have the same laugh I did. But the very last scene in the trailer literally explains exactly how grounded we're talking about, and it's hilarious. And it's 2 seconds, but it's it's going to be good. And I love how dirty that show looks. It doesn't even look like they're doing it in like New York or
Yeah,
LA, or it looks like they're in like Odessa, Texas, or something.
yeah, and
So
the costumes
yeah,
are like have dirt and dust on them and
yeah, and Kyle spends more time in his or Hal spends more time in his blue and white checkered flannel and jeans with cowboy boots on than he does in his Green Lantern suit. So, it's going to be an interesting take, and obviously we're at the end of Hal Jordan's run, so
or the supposed end of Hal
the
Jordan's run.
supposed end of his run,
Yeah,
because nothing said you can't have more than one lantern per planet. But anyway, um, the other thing and this one might go either way with you, and to me, it was funny. John Cena's got two movies coming out. One is a live action mixed with animation, Acme versus something where
which
they're trying to.
this movie almost died. It was shelved. It was supposed to never come out.
I might go see this movie
Oh, me
because
too.
I
I've
was
heard
a
it's the
huge of that cartoon, dude. I
I've
was a
heard it's
huge
excellent. That was the
yeah.
whole thing. Is there was like this whole like license stuff, and then the like Warner Brothers and all the stuff that was going on there. There
Huh.
was this whole weird
Well,
thing, and
there's
this
a
movie
lot
has
of
been shelved for years. Like it was supposed to have never come out. It was shelved, and they were like, "It's never happening. We're not releasing it. It's not happening." And then they were still able to somehow. I don't remember the whole story anymore, but some studio ended up buying the rights to it, and they bought this movie back. This movie was not supposed to be shown, but
so
everybody was like, "This
we're
is
gonna
the
see an old
best."
movie.
Yeah, they're like, "This is the best Looney Tunes thing that's ever like come out." So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it. This is something that we were not supposed to see, and I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, and I loved Looney Tunes, man, and specifically Wile E. Coyote, because I was like, dude, he's got to get him at some point. I remember being a little boy going, Dad, does he ever get him? And my dad being like, how should I know, dude? He
And
hasn't my whole life.
this is also a really interesting style of movie that they don't make very often. You know,
No,
you have Mary Poppins,
like
you have
Space
Who Framed
Jam,
Roger Rabbit, Space Jam. You know, every once in a while do
the
we get
real
this sort
Space
of
Jam,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
not the LeBron
Only
Jam.
every once in a while do we get this sort of live action mixed with animation, and then the whole thing is it's usually either really great
Yeah.
or it's awful. And we have seen some awful ones. There was like that Brad Pitt one back in the day that was awful. There was a Brendan Fraser one back in the day that was
Oh,
awful. There
yeah.
was Space Jam 2 that we'd all wish didn't happen.
I still think
So,
the gold standard is Who Framed Roger Rabbit for that.
of course. Of course. I mean,
Yeah.
it's and that's another one where the rights are all tied up. That's why we've never gotten a sequel is because
Man.
hey system, what's up, man? Who Framed
Nice.
Roger
What's up,
Rabbit was
buddy?
amazing. Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, man. And so there's some sort of weird like legal stuff going on with Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that we've never gotten a sequel. Particularly Jessica Rabbit. There's some sort of legal situation with her.
That's
I don't know.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it is
'Cause-
unfortunate.
yeah.
It is unfortunate.
So the other Cena movie we've got coming out is Matchbox, the movie, about literally a group of people that have grown up and they played with Matchbox cars when they were kids, and then it turns into a big spec ops heist thing where they find out their buddy Cena was like they couldn't have called that, some type of spec ops operator, and they all end up in cars driving Matchbox cars that they drove when, I don't know, man, it looked weird. Um, you know, there's always two schools, at least back in the day, there were, you were either Hot Wheels or you were Matchbox cars. And a lot of people had more Matchbox than Hot Wheels because Matchbox was cheaper.
Well, I heard that there was I just heard that the movie was called Matchbox, but I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was about. Like I was like,
Yeah.
surely it's not about the Matchbox cars. I guess it is.
It's
So
exactly about the Matchbox cars.
I don't know. We'll see. I've actually been really surprised with John Cena's movies and his roles.
Yeah.
Like there's been even stuff that looks like it shouldn't work has worked.
Well, dude, that movie he did with Idris Elba, Heads of State, was excellent. I thought it was very good.
Yeah. So I'm actually, you know what? Like, if he can make it work, like if anybody can make it work, it's him. And yeah, obviously it's not going to be taking itself too seriously. He's not trying to win an
Correct.
Oscar on this thing. It's supposed to be big dumb fun. So I'm down to see it. I'm down to see a big dumb fun movie here.
Speaking of big dumb fun movies, thank you for that, by the way. We have Spaceballs, the new one. And as a person that saw the original one in the theater, yes, I'm a little bit upset it's not called Spaceballs, the Search for More Money. Because in the first one, Yogurt specifically said, hopefully we'll see each other again in the sequel, Spaceballs 2, the Search for More Money. So this one's called Spaceballs, the new one. It's written by Josh Gad, so that gives me immediate street cred for him because I think he's excellent. And he had asked Mel Brooks for permission to do this one. He brought Rick Moranis out of retirement.
Which is crazy.
He's got the entire Pullman family in it, so the father and son playing in the movie. He found Princess Vespa, Daphne Zuniga, and he's got her back. I don't know who's playing Dot Matrix because, rest in peace, we lost, what's her name? Joan Rivers. And then we also lost John Candy, so I don't know how the barf thing's going to work out. But the funniest line in the whole thing in the panel when they all came up there was somebody said, somehow Dark Helmet has returned. And I thought that was cool. A, and then B, they
Nice
pulled a
little
Marvel.
swipe.
They pulled a Marvel, and of course it was parody and it was a joke. But they had their full phase timeline for movies, and it stretched to like 2099 or something, 2199. And it had like 58 different movies that were coming out in the Spaceballs universe. But one of the things they tried to say, at least on stage, and we don't know if this is true yet because we haven't seen the movie, is that they tried to stay true to the original. And you'd think every franchise would do that, but they don't. And try to keep with that same type of humor line, which is hard to do because that was an 80s comedy movie and it was a Mel Brooks movie, and Mel Brooks was notoriously irreverent towards certain groups of people, depending on what type of movie it was.
And of all these people that have passed on, Mel Brooks still with us. Crazily
100
enough.
years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Recently turned 100 years old. Yeah. So if anybody was going to live that long, it was going to be Mel Brooks. So, man, obviously I'm excited about that. I love the original Spaceballs a lot. Then another movie, I didn't think it was even going to catch me at all. And then the first time I saw the trailer, I was like, no, I'm not watching this trailer. And I canceled it. And then the second time it came up, I saw that it was Johnny Depp and I canceled it. Then I decided to watch the whole trailer. And I think Ebenezer is going to be an outstanding movie for Johnny Depp. I really do. He's playing Ebenezer.
Seen the trailer for it, but I'm happy to see him return.
Yeah,
somehow.
And obviously,
Johnny Depp has returned.
Somehow Johnny Depp has returned, but he's playing Ebenezer Scrooge. Obviously, it's going to be a Christmas Carol retelling. But dude, it looks so good in the vein of Sweeney Todd. That kind of look to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Tim Burton or not. I couldn't tell if that's what it was, but it had that look to it. And he looks like he's doing like what they showed. It looks like he did an excellent job. So I'm probably going to see it. I love Christmas Carol. It's one of my favorite stories. And it'll be fun to see, I think. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, speaking of retellings, would you like to use that as a jumping off point to discuss the movie that we both saw?
I think that is a perfect jumping off point, especially since we've been on an Odyssey tonight
We
and
have.
we are at the end and we have made it home.
So yeah,
So
so
yeah,
we saw the Odyssey, much anticipated, much talked about, much hated, much all this stuff going on, and there was a lot going into this movie. Just the casting alone, there were uproars. Now, I always loved, like, Christopher Nolan is one of my absolute favorite directors,
yeah,
and I didn't
everybody's, yeah.
yeah, I didn't really have any concerns about this, and like, I don't like, whenever it comes to like gender swapping, race swapping, whatever, like, I don't like, never do that in like a historical, like, if you're talking about like actual history, it's a bad idea. That's a bad look. Don't ever do that. This one is a fictional work, and I wasn't all that concerned about it. Let me tell you guys. So it's crazy because there's creators that I love, and I usually share opinions with them on a lot of things. People like the Critical Drinker. I could not have disagreed more with them on this movie.
Speaking of that, can I tell you that I spent a significant amount of the movie because you and I do this show together, and this is the first time we've been in the same place at the same time to do it, to do something we knew we were going to talk about. I spent a significant amount of time going, I wonder if he's enjoying the movie. Wonder if he's like, did he like that part? I don't think he liked that part. Maybe, and,
Well,
yeah,
let me
I'm
fill
just
in
gonna
some
let you know
blanks.
that. So yes,
I love the movie. Let me just say that
yes,
right up front. I love this movie. I will say that this movie is not the Odyssey, not in the way that you think. This movie is not what you think it is. This movie is about the Odyssey the same way that Saving Private Ryan is about World War II. Um,
yeah.
the Odyssey happened. It is happening, and it's remembered. It's talked about, and you see it. But that's not what the movie's about. The movie is about this person, Odysseus, and some other people. But it's about this journey and what the true cost of the Odyssey, what the Odyssey had, the toll that the Odyssey has taken on Odysseus, his family, his homeland,
Friends,
the
yeah.
politics. So this is more of a so the movie is not the Odyssey. The movie is about the Odyssey. The Odyssey is a memory in the movie. Like, you are not living through the Odyssey in the movie. The movie is not going chronologically through the Odyssey. Like, the Odyssey
Well,
is told in remembrance.
it's like what you said about Saving Private Ryan. That the movie is not World War II. It's Tom Hanks and his soldiers walking through World War II.
Exactly.
That's what it's about. And this is about Matt Damon walking through the Odyssey and living through it, and Telemachus dealing, which is Tom Holland's character, reacting to his change of state and in his homeland, and Anne Hathaway's character balancing what could have only been, she had to have the most stress of anybody in that story. But I'll, go ahead, man. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Oh,
but
no, no,
yeah, it
no,
was
you're good.
important
No,
to say that.
absolutely. I just wanted to say that, for all of the hubbub around this movie, all the things that people were latching onto, if all that had not happened, I would bet you money you wouldn't even notice. You
Yeah,
wouldn't notice, you wouldn't care, because all these castings that people were so upset about, which, by the way, just as a friendly reminder, Matt Damon and Tom Holland aren't Greek. Like, just being white doesn't equal Greek. But all of these castings, Helen of Troy gets maybe 120 seconds of screen time. I
maybe.
mean, it is negligible, the amount of story that is dedicated to Helen of Troy.
And
I mean,
my
and
hot
this is
take
not an
is
exaggeration. I'm talking literally 2 minutes of screen time.
my hot take is, and I was one of them, because originally I thought she was playing. Well, I thought he was playing something else than he was actually playing. But Elliot Page, I think, knocked it out of the park for the 2 minutes that they were in it. Right. So for the role of Sinon, which doesn't have much of a role, nailed it.
The
Especially the part when they were in Hades, man, nailed that.
Yeah, so this is one of those things, and there were people like there's like this that's worked with Nolan before. I can't think of his name, but he's been in a lot of movies, been in Tenet and all that. But the Indian British actor that's in there, and he is one
Yeah.
of the strongest characters in this movie, man. Like
Oh,
he,
dude, he's one of the main guy. I mean, it
yeah,
was
and he
ridiculous.
killed it, dude. So, so you may ask yourself, how do they handle this fact that oh, not everybody is the way that you would imagine them to be as Greek? I think they handled it the best way they possibly could, and they just don't talk about it. You know, like
Hamesh
Jay,
Patel.
yeah, yes. And Jay, you equated it to a stage play. You know, like whenever you go to a
Yes.
stage production, they don't have to they're not going to go and bother with justifying why this person is this skin tone whenever they're from this
Yeah.
region or what. They just didn't talk about it. And for that, you wouldn't even notice. But everything else, it was so good. I I expected that I would enjoy this movie because it's a Christopher Nolan film, but I knew the Odyssey, right? You knew the Odyssey. We've all
Yes.
read it in school. I didn't think I would be surprised, and it surprised me so much. This movie was so heavy. Um, and they touched on
Dense.
so
Yeah.
many different things. You got to linger and think about love and loss, grief, leadership, responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. You
Well,
know,
I was going to say that one of the biggest emotions, and it's never talked about, is wariness. The wariness on his face once Calypso made him stop eating the lotus, and it all came back to him. The weight of that, the gravity of that, of how wary he was of. Oh my God, how long have I? I mean, how long have I been here?
dude, and I mean
Jesus, dude.
Matt Damon's
Yeah,
a phenomenal actor. He
yeah. He
was
stretched it to yeah,
outstanding in this
yeah.
film. Like, I mean, I like Matt Damon
People
out
throw
Matt
around the
Damon
term
himself, man. He
people they throw around the term magnum opus, and I get it. This is Christopher Nolan's magnum opus, but it was Matt Damon's magnum opus too.
yes, absolutely phenomenal,
Yeah,
phenomenal performance. I mean, and like we said, a lot of stuff, especially more recently, like Matt Damon's done a lot
yeah,
of things where like and they're fun movies, like the Rip and things like that, and they're
yeah.
kind of this thing, and they still get to show, but the level of range in this movie was absolutely insane, and also, I mean, everybody, everybody killed it in this movie.
I
Tom Holland, like I told you, this was the first movie that I've seen. I've seen Tom Holland in other movies that weren't Spider
yeah.
Man. This was the first time I saw Tom Holland in a movie that wasn't Spider Man. And whenever he popped up on screen, I wasn't like, "That's Spider Man." Like you don't see Spider Man whenever Tom Holland's on screen.
Two things I want to highlight is that Tom Holland almost made me cry in that movie because he gets there. I forgot what scene it was, but man, he just yanked it out of me, and you could see it because his eyeballs were. It was when he discovered when Damon when Odysseus the dog died,
Yeah.
and he realized that was his dad, and I just used the word dad.
How dare
Easy to
you?
do, folks. Easy to do, and his eyes looked like they were just floating in a fishbowl, like he was about to lose it. And anybody that's been separated from family for a long time and then sees them, that's exactly what that it grasped that feeling. And the other one, on a different note, was John Bernthal. How a guy, no matter what role he's in, can still sound like he's from South Texas and still sell you on the fact that he's an absolute
Yeah.
king of Greece.
Every time
He was absolutely mental
you
out.
will let him tell
Yeah.
you something.
Let me tell you something, Red. He absolutely sold me on being Menelaus. He was absolutely perfect in that casting. Um, you know, when I read the Odyssey, even I mean, I didn't know who John Bernthal was, but that's who I saw. I mean, he was it, man. He did a great job. I'm not taking anything away from Brendan Gleeson, who did it in Troy, because I thought he did excellent as Menelaus. But still, man, John Bernthal just
Dude,
nailed that role.
and as far as other surprisingly just incredible performances, John Leguizamo, dude.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, how he doesn't get an Oscar nod will blow. I don't know how he doesn't as a supporting actor.
I
There's a
mean,
ton of them in that movie, but
John
man,
Leguizamo has made a career as like comedy roles, or it's kind of like plucky sidekick roles. Dude, the gravity that he brought
oh,
uh was unreal. I was
yeah.
so impressed.
Yeah, you go back and you look at like first off, you go look at the role he played in Spawn.
Yeah,
Remember that?
clown.
Yeah, the clown. And then you look at the role he played in John Wick when when those guys showed up with John Wick's car. And he's like, "I'm sorry, what? You stole John Wick's car? You stole John? Bam! You can't hit. Yeah, I just did hit you. What are you doing? And it's like he's like one of those great method actors, dude. I'm sure they set him
I
down. They're like, okay, you're this. You didn't used to be blind, but you're blind now, and you were his mentor, and you know everything about him, and you know how he thinks and how he works, and you've got now act that out,
loyal to a
type of deal.
fault.
Yeah, and just that man, just an incredible role, and that's a
I hope
central
I hope he
character in
gets
the
more
story.
dramatic role offers now. I hope that more
I'm
people come
sure he
see, like, oh
will.
my god, like John
Yeah,
Leguizamo can do that. Like, let's get this, because
yeah,
it was any I can't say enough good things about this film. It was
yeah.
so incredible. Like, I'm gonna see it again. I have to see it again. There,
Samantha Morton. I know she's going to get overlooked playing Cersei, the witch. And a lot of people don't remember
gnarly scene, by the way, gnarly scene.
that whole. It was a jarring segment of that movie, but you needed it. You needed and you needed to realize how twisted this journey
Literally.
back home was going to be, and there was no better way to capture that than the whole scene with Cersei and the pigs. And when I read that in the book, I didn't picture it like that. I mean, I was a kid, but
They just think of it as
I
like,
got
poof, they're pigs.
yeah, but yeah, and that's exactly what I thought. Like, waved my magic wand and poof, they're pigs. And then she's doing this whole hand
Re-sculpting.
morphing with her hands like they're on a potter's wheel, and I'm just, it was, dude, it was.
So that
It
was
was jarring.
unsettling. That was like, yeah,
Yeah.
whenever she like reached her hand inside this dude's mouth and then like pulled his like whole jaw forward,
Oh,
that was gnarly. So that one was
I'm like, you're not coming back from that.
yeah, that one was visually abrasive. I mean,
Yes.
and convincing. Then there was another one, the audio, the Cyclops,
Oh,
the
yes.
Cyclops cave, the audio design, and the soundscape in the Cyclops's cave.
Yeah, I was
is-
on edge.
Yeah, that was like audio anxiety. I was so anxious, and you were supposed to be. That's what they were going
Yeah.
for. You're supposed to be. But you hear whenever the Cyclops makes this, just unearthly scream, you hear that reverberate off of the walls and come back, and it's just this, it's like so loud and uncomfortable. It was really unsettling and very effective.
Yeah, and his prayer to Prometheus, the
Yeah.
Cyclops, it was, man, I mean, it was discombobulating. I was just sitting there going, dude, what the hell is going, just get out of there. Even though, I mean, I know how the story goes, and still I'm sitting there going, you guys need to get the fuck out of there right now, man.
And there's times,
Nope.
and that's a good example, not to give too much away to people, so I won't say everything, but that's one time
But
whenever,
you
like,
can't
as they get out,
Spoil a story that's 2,000 years
I
old.
guess
but
that's
go
true.
ahead.
As they're leaving, though,
Yeah.
like Odysseus, you're like, oh, what are you doing, dude? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, why would you do this?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I will see this movie again. I left that movie with so much to think about. I mean, you even though it's such a well-worn story, I guarantee you will look at it differently.
Yeah.
Whenever we think about it, whenever we read it, we think about it in these things like these grand battles and all this stuff, and like, oh, Achilles and all these sort of like these legendary figures, and this sort of almost like this mythical aspect to it. And we never, at least I never once thought about what kind of toll that would take on somebody that actually went through it. The mental toll, the emotional toll, you know,
Well, the
and
funny thing is, in our everyday vocabulary, the word epic comes from the Iliad and the Odyssey. Those were the original 2 epics, dude.
yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, just the length and breadth of this story and the one before it are just unbelievable
Yeah.
in their
So
in the scale. So
all the things that you may be apprehensive about for because of what you're hearing, don't don't fucking listen to anybody. Don't even
make
worry
your
about
own
it.
mind. Yeah,
Yeah, go see the movie. Go see the movie. Like it is so not what you think. It is not what
yeah,
you expect. I thought, how can we like? Because I was really surprised. Even forget all the other casting bullshit, whatever. I was just surprised that Christopher Nolan was doing this movie because it wasn't an original work. It's the Odyssey. Everybody knows the Odyssey. Christopher Nolan writes his movies. Like these are his ideas, right? So I was like, it was always odd. I mean, I was down to see it, but it was just odd to me that it was, not something that even whenever he did Batman, it was still his original concept of how it would be put together, right?
yeah.
And so, but I was so, like, oh, that's surprising. But he does it with this while still staying remarkably more loyal than you think to the source material. There's a few
Correct.
tweaks and changes here and there, but it's not anything egregious. Um, but yeah, I was just so uh I guess moved is the word. I mean, whenever it was over, like and we went to the restaurant and we were just kind of sitting there. There was a bit where we were just kind of like, wow, where you
What
just kind
just
of have to take it
happened?
in. And then
Yeah,
as we discussed different things, you can walk away with entirely different interpretations of
yeah.
things that happen in that movie, which is fascinating. Um, yeah, it's a lot. It's very heavy. Again, it is uh, brutal realities of love, loss, grief, leadership, responsibility, um, guilt, survivor's guilt. I mean, God, man, so many. Also, while we're talking about absolutely stellar performances, I have never wanted to see Robert Pattinson die
So
more
bad.
in my life. I was like,
Yeah.
just waiting for this guy to get a knife in the neck. Just end our suffering with this dude. Everybody killed it. And if you thought that you could never, like, Robert Pattinson's just too damn likable, I can't dislike this guy. You can. I assure you, you can. Watch the
Yeah,
Odyssey.
he nailed that role.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Leguizamo and Bernthal and those guys, but yeah, he and to be fair, that Antinuous in the book was just beyond lowest of lowest form of human being. But yeah, Pattinson nailed it. Now, I wouldn't have thought I actually went into that movie thinking this is going to be the weakest of the roles.
Yeah.
I mean, because I didn't think he could play this role. I'm not saying it was a bad casting or anything or a
Yeah.
miscast. I was like, this isn't his style. I don't know how he's going to do this. I mean, you look at all of his body of work from Cedric Diggory to Twilight to
Yeah, he's always the hero or at least
yeah,
part of the good guys. He's just
yes,
likable.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, he's just a likable guy, and yeah, it was. I was like, damn, dude, this dude is. And what's his name? That he was in Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds. He played Dre and Straight Outta Compton. He was kind of a dick too, and he's not Corey Hawkins, and he's not usually a dick at all. And then we had Mia Goth, who probably had 35 seconds of screen time, but it was crucial screen time that she
Yeah.
had.
It
And
was there were so many moments where, like, somebody popped up on screen and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know they were in this."
yeah, and then I would have never in a million years, if you were asking me to cast the Odyssey and said, okay, who's playing Agamemnon? Benny Safdie wouldn't have even been
A
on the
director.
list.
Not even an actor.
He would never.
He's a
He
director.
would have never been on the list. And then on the flip side of that, we get to Calypso being played by Charlize Theron, and Calypso is kind of just a talking role. It's not a dramatic role in that story, and somehow she still owned it.
I will say though, this proved something. and that is without heavy prosthetics like they did in Monster, you cannot make Charlize Theron unattractive. Like
No,
there is no amount of dirt, nor sand, nor torn
just made her
clothing
hotter.
that you can throw on her that makes
Like she
her
just keeps getting,
unattractive.
let's throw some slimy like fish guts on her. Nope, still hot.
Nope, still hot. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and then you
So,
brought up Ryan Hurst, even though he barely said a
oh,
word in the movie.
yeah. So Ryan Hurst playing again, one of these things that, like you said, the epic, the term epic now brought into our, I think, mentor.
Yeah.
Ryan Hurst's character is mentor. And that's
Yeah.
what we got. But it made me even more heartbroken for Ryan to have lost the role of Kratos now. Because I was like, can he even get into the kind of shape that he can do? Because I love Ryan Hurst, and I think he's great casting for the role of Kratos. If he could get the bulk on, he can get the bulk on. He bulked up. He was bulked up in the Odyssey. He was back in Opie shape from Sons of Anarchy, even better. And so yeah, he did great. He did great in the role of mentor. Um, and it's even more heartbreaking now in hindsight to see. I was already devastated for him already about losing Kratos because of injury.
Yeah.
But now seeing that he put in the work and he looked the part, it's awful. It's awful. But his small role, he owned it. Everybody owned their roles. Agamemnon speaks maybe 4 words in this, like you're talking about,
Yeah.
Safdie, but his presence he has one of the coolest scenes in the movie where, where they open the gates and he's just standing there as the horde runs by. And this is another thing though is that I really love that was so powerful in the movie is you watch the Battle of Troy, and you watch Troy fall. And you see it as this sort of grandiose accomplishment. Hey, we were in the horse, we had this thing, we came down dead of night, we took over and we wrecked shop. It was the telling that you would tell about how great we did. And then at the end of the movie, you see Odysseus's real perspective and what he lived through as they
What?
went through Troy. And you see that, and from this sort of this mythical way that it was presented, this heroic presentation, and you see the atrocities that he witnessed, that he allowed to happen, that he didn't feel that he could stop, and it
So
was devastating.
it was wild while we were while we were in the movie, and I'm sitting there thinking, this isn't his victory; it's Odysseus' shame.
Mhm.
And that's what we saw. We saw the shame. I think that's why. And you and I were talking about it at lunch. We didn't see Achilles, and we didn't see King Priam, and we didn't see, any number of Trojan characters, because we saw Odysseus's shame. We saw the fact he didn't want to see that, and I think we were him at that moment.
Yeah.
When they were in the city, and we didn't want to see anything. We were, we weren't covering our eyes, but in fact, he was trying to take it all in. Like, I can't believe this is what I did. This is where my tricks got me. This is where being so smart got me.
Well, and I mean,
know?
to your point about the whole thing being sort of like Troy being Odysseus's shame, because it's brought up multiple times in the movie. They always talk
Yeah.
about the law of Zeus, which is where you always treat strangers with kindness because you never know if they'll be a god in disguise. And
Yeah.
it's brought up multiple times in the movie that Troy broke that he broke Zeus's rule and he broke it forever. That him breaking that rule changed
History forever.
changed history, changed the rules of engagement going forward. In fact, there's a threat. The people from the sea that you hear about the people from the sea. They never show up in the movie. They're never there. But it's made clear that the atrocities that are being committed, that are being heard about these people from the sea, it's allowed, like it's or the result of what they did in Troy. That breaking of that law.
And I think if you look at it as some type of resounding pulse through history, and let's pretend for a second that we all still believe today in Zeus's law. You look at the wars we wage now and how we go about diplomacy and just interacting with other countries, we break it every day.
Yeah.
And we're still breaking it. And I think that's what he was trying to show, is that once it was broke, it couldn't become unbroken.
Well,
We couldn't fix it.
And there's several things that can have multiple interpretations. The other interpretation is that they are the people from the sea. That them breaking this rule.
Well, that's what I thought the whole time.
Yeah, yeah. Because there's that part where the guy shows up and they're like, "Hey, why did you guys set your village on fire and run instead of just welcoming us?" And they're like, "We thought you were the people from the sea." And he's like, "No, we're Greeks." But it's because they had done what happened in Troy. Like they did that.
You think about long haul fishermen though, being out on the water and fishing, and then they see this ghost fleet. Like, who are these guys just out here sailing around, burning, killing, sheep and cyclopses? And then they went over here to this other island. They ate the sacred cows. And then they went over here and they got in a fight with giants. And then these fishermen come back to ports and they tell these stories. They're like, man, there's these guys out there. These people from, I don't know who they are. They're just people from the sea. And that shit just blows up over time. And yeah, man, that's what, I felt like that the whole time I was watching. I'm like, oh my God, Odysseus.
I think that's the most obvious interpretation for sure.
Yeah.
Is that they are the people from the sea. I think that's kind of the point that they were making by the end of the movie, is that they were the people from the sea.
Yeah.
But it could go either way. But my interpretation is the same, that they were the people from the sea. And that them breaking the rules or the law of Odysseus allowed them to gain that, and they earned it. They earned that reputation because of the things that they did, and that's what we see, and that's the weight that Odysseus carries in the movie. It's, seriously, there's I can't say enough good things about this movie. It is so good. It is so well done. And again, whatever you think, if you haven't seen the movie, whatever you have in your head, however you think this movie works, however you envision it functioning, it's not. It doesn't work that way. That's not the way the movie is. That's not how it's done. It is such an interesting look and an interesting perspective. And if you walk out of that movie and you can say, it was good, I liked it, or I didn't like it, didn't care for it, didn't like that they changed it. If you can walk out of that movie and not think like some of these heavier topics that it touches on, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, if you can walk out of that and not have some questions to ponder for at least a few minutes, maybe you're in a better place than I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got, man. I think that this is one of our longer shows now. We're at 2:17. So I don't know. Do you have anything?
For the record, I think the Odyssey preview started at 1:35.
Yeah, I thought we'll just cover this really quick.
Yeah.
But there is so much. I like I said, I will see this movie again. This definitely feels like a movie where the more you see it, the more you'll catch.
You take from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a good book. Like, whenever you read a book and then you read it again years later, you're at a different point in your life, and then different passages will jump out at you, and you're like, oh my God, how did I, like, like a sentence or something will hit you, and you're like, how did I not feel this the first time I read it?
Right.
And it's just because you're a different spot in your life. You just weren't in a place where you could receive that. So yeah, go see the movie is all I can say.
Yeah, good movie, dude. I absolutely enjoyed it. I was glad we could all attend it together. That was awesome.
Absolutely. We'll have to do it more often. All right, man. Well, do you have any final closing words?
I do not. I'm going to, get some food and probably crawl into Realm of Thrones for a few minutes. Not very long because I've got to go to bed. I got work in the morning, but looking forward to the weekend, man. Honestly.
Me too. It has been a brutal week in every sense of the word. I am also ready for the weekend.
We're going to sling some cardboard on Saturday, me and my son. So we're looking forward to trying out our new Marvel decks on Magic, and then see Spider-Man. So pretty excited.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to. I'm seeing Spider-Man tomorrow night with my son. So yeah, we will definitely have to compare notes once you have seen it.
We'll do.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for episode 80. We will see you next week for episode 81, and we will talk about whatever craziness has happened between now and then. So, till next time. See you on the internet.
I must bid you adieu. Goodbye. Mwah. And good night, bad.
Boom.